Hello and welcome back to Arknights. Nights are going to be continuing because the story, Chapter 11, Return to Mist, has come out. So we're going to be diving in a moment. Oh, but first, I did in fact get Stainless, as you can see there. Let me just say, it took over 200 pulls, holy crap. Don't ask me how many cliff hearts I got. Seriously, wouldn't mind, but really now. I did, however, get Paprika, and that's nice. And actually, why is that nice? Because her voice actor is actually the same person who did Aiba in the Somnium Files 1 and 2. I'm gonna raise her for that reason alone.
I'm not good at this stuff either. Huh? They need it done today? Fine, I told you I'd help. I keep my word, give it here. I'll take half, but you gotta finish the rest on your own. Hey there! Starting today, my squad and I are at your beck and call, Doctor. Call
I
me
really think the
Paprika.
voice acting in this game has
You
really
seem
gotten
like a
better.
solid employer, but you're still on probation. I've got my eye on you.
I really think the English voice acting has really gotten a lot of good stuff here. But yeah, I managed to get pretty much every one I wanted. It just took a ridiculous amount of pulls. I started with 135k Red Rocks, and I'm now down to like 10k, a bit short of that. But for now, we must go to Return to Mist. Going straight into a cutscene? Oh no. Alright, let's see here. This looks like an easy one. I've heard this is actually a fairly difficult chapter, but I'll give my rabbits one go to see how they work. If anything goes wrong, I'm not going to force myself to do it. Rabbits are not a standard theme team for a number of reasons. Hey, they're fun. 26 years ago to 5:11 p.m. Residence the Duke of Cumberland, the district of Londinium. Your Majesty, I've just received word. Those two pitiful members have died in their cells. And they deserve. It's time Parliament understood they serve Victoria and not the businessmen stuffing their pockets with coin. I understand your eagerness. Still, some are worried. Your pressure on the court has terrified a great deal of members who've been observing the situation. They may act with impropriety in the days to come. They should be fearful. They had better know their places. This unbroken succession of wars, while away whiles away the riches our forebears accumulated over the ages, yet certain greedy condor wings have been reared full, fattened by them. I'm not looking for you to back down, but if we could just go a little slower, as if the condor wings know when to stop. Why don't you look for them to feed a little slower? If we don't put our new tax policies in place, then once the enemy sees fit to pounce on Victoria and tear flesh apart, even the mercenaries will leave us without a second thought. If they consider wait, with something's yeah. Oh, weird. Something happened to the model there. Um, kind of a little awkward, I guess. Well, no matter. For now, if they consider themselves a soldier with clear mind and honorable heart, they'll stand by our side. I'm afraid the Red Dragon thought as much too before he was forced to share half his crown. We all saw the end that befell him. Oh, I promise you, no matter the hour, you will have. No, you can't do that to me. Hello, Pixel. Welcome to the stream. You'll have Cumberland's loyalty. Of course, Cumberland the ever on high. How could I doubt where you stand? But you see, Robert, Victoria is in our hour of need this very moment. The right of kings is waning upon us with a swath of soil. What, does your majesty think so? It's her birthday the day after. Everyone's hoping to catch a glimpse of your visage. The servicemen are impatient to pay their respects to you, and the populace's cheers are sure to pray. Streaming at the same time as Athos? Ah, this is just when I normally stream. I should probably start streaming a bit earlier, though, if we're completely honest. Oh yes, I was successful in getting Stainless, by the way, Pixel, but unfortunately it took over 200 pulls. It was not fun, that's for sure. But I do have him, and that means I can M9 him over time. Not rushing, of course, but um, and the populace cheers sure to drown out the parade in turn. So yeah, perhaps what of next year, and when it comes time for my Alexandrina to succeed the throne, Robert, we will make our exit sooner or later. Oh, your majesty. Pull twice on the banner. Oh, good luck. Hope you got something good out of it. Your majesty, your grace. Pardon me for bothering without permission, but I have to report. There's been an intrusion in the palace underground. The size of kings is unaccounted for. What? And so is Her Highness Alexandrina. The guard have sealed off the area's connection. The search is underway, but no leads have surfaced for the time being. Her Highness Alexandrina and the Victorian Realm Blade have gone missing at once in this sensitive situation. No, no, no noble be so brazen, and yet want a paprika? Oh, don't don't ask me how many cliff hearts I got. Over 200 pulls, and I got over a ton of copies of her. Don't get me wrong, I was hoping to get Paprika along the way myself, since her voice actor is the same one who did Aiba in the Somnium Files 1 and 2. So that was neat, but unfortunately, it seems Cliffheart really, really loved me because holy crap, did I get a ton of copies of her. I wouldn't mind, but I've already thrown in my rope as my puller, so might be a little late for me to start investing in too many others. Majesty, I assure you, I'll personally handle this affair straight away. Don't be so flustered, my old friend. Alexandrina's longtime mentor accompanies her. I trust no one will pose a threat to her safety. Mentor? He treats Alexandrina very well. I can't recall if he's ever shown me the same level of concern. As for our size of kings, well, no matter where it is, it will play its role. You mean the role of a realm blade? Ha! They'll be grasped at by a righteous ruler before the academics conduct their endless research on it. That is what a realm blade is for. And we all look forward to the coming of that day. I understand. Robert, for your daughter and mine. Yes, Your Majesty, and for Victoria, of course. So the cliff arc, at the time it started, was free for newbies. I think technically she still is. I actually don't remember. If we're honest, she probably is the one of the better ones in general, though. I mean, as much as I can complain about, well, as much as most will probably say insist Gladia is better, I must remind that Gladia only really gets amazing in a Abyssal Hunter team. If you're just using her as a regular puller, she's actually not that great for that. Cliffheart, though, she is absolutely dedicated to CC, crowd control, so I would probably recommend her to most. Rope, well, Rope I got just because of rabbits, but she is by far the cheapest, and that is not an unimportant option, especially for pullers that are going to be used to farm in farming stages that have holes to pull stuff into. Hold on, miss, don't run so fast. I have to, Alshie? I need to, Alshie? I need to see my father. I know he's at home today. If I'm not quick enough, he'll be off to God knows where again. The Duke's been up to his ears in business lately, but if he knows you want to meet, I'm sure he'd be willing to spare the time with you. I admit it's one thing I disagree with most people on, but I do think if you're not building an Abyssal Hunter team, Gladia may not actually be that great of an investment because remember, you're paying a 6-star premium. It's nice because the rest one get 3 stacks. It's good, but again, you're paying a 6-star unit's premium for someone who has the same pull strength as the others. For some reason, all pullers cap at 2 strength, and I have no idea why. It's just weird. You do have a point, yeah. She can get 3 stacks for S1, and that's pretty good for general pulling. I don't want him to spend time with me. Then what are you in such a hurry to see him for? I need to tell him loud and clear I don't want to go to County York. Don't you like the country? The manor out there is a lot more land than is here. You used to love playing in the meadow, and you always had the farmers' kids to play cricket with you. Love it there, but it's hardly even summer yet. This time of year, we usually stay in Londinium. Plus, isn't it strange how it's just me and Mum going this time? Calm down for now. I hear the Manchester's butler have a lot of the noble house's masters and mistresses are touring the country this year. It might just be one of those new trends in society, you know? Don't give me that. Algier, your daddy's hiding from me. He wants me out of here. Why? Because I keep asking him to teach me swordsmanship because I never got any Gaulish into my head? Is that why he has a temper at me? Good one, because I like brain dead stuff. Well, I can't blame you there. Part of the reason I stick to, Ifrit S2 is simply because I don't trust my skill timings. And pullers can absolutely have a lot of skill timing you have to get right for a lot of really efficient clears, and I'm just no good at that. And let's see, if I remember right, I believe Gaul is the totally not France country. It was destroyed before the main story started, although strangely, the actual French players I've spoken with have mentioned they approve of this. Make of that however you will. I'm not even joking, that actually happened! More than once, for that matter. Oh. It's Allerdale. Maybe it's not my place to say this. Well, my manners tutor isn't here right now, so I don't give two tosses what you should be saying or not. I can only offer my own opinion. So I'm not very good at the British accents here. Miss, His Grace loves you very much. No matter what his decision is, it's going to be good for you and the madam. If he wants to, what's good for me, that's more reason he shouldn't be sending me off. I'll miss him. I'll miss him a lot, you know. Ah, oh, come on, you. What are you blushing for? Because that's the kind of thing only little kids say. I don't want Dad to think I'm attached to him. I need to be stronger, and I can become a Steam Knight sooner, just like my great-great-great-grandmother. Steam Knights are pretty nasty. If I remember right, back in Chapter 7, Patriot mentioned the Steam Knights were among the very few who ever got him to... who actually gave him trouble. No wonder she wants to be one. They sound like really powerful knights. Although I guess we did just have the Near Light rerun, and the knights there were no joke either. Yeah, I'm putting Blood Knight on par with Emperor's Blade in terms of you're as bullshit as the day I lost you. You are still a child. You should try telling him everything you've been feeling. He's a gentle, generous duke, a kind and caring father. I'm sure he'll understand you. So you let me see him. I always support you in your decisions. But you'd best be a little slower so you don't trip on the plants, or else Mr. Jim the gardener will skip dinner again, out of shame for getting you hurt. Little Jim, it's his fault if the plants hurt me. Ah, really, what do we do with you? Make sure... You mind your skirt, Miss Allerdale. You've got an audience with His Majesty at dinner tonight. Have you seen Charles Lynch anywhere? The newly appointed Steam Knight, was it? Incredible achievement at his age. I'm sure plenty came here just to mob him. A shame he rushed off not long after he arrived. I hear every Steam Knight garrison in Londinium got orders to move. Is it Sargon Lithuanian this time? God save Victoria, no more wars. Every time one happens, I have to sell off a few more of my grandfather's paintings, rest his soul. It's an order direct from Parliament this time. Parliament? Of course, Steam Knights sit under Parliament, don't they? You always get word so quick. Well, there's value in getting information right away. The more you're informed, the better you invest, especially in these times. This goes far further than how much pound sterling we make or lose. Yeah, information absolutely can be more valuable than raw money at times. We're deciding the nation's future, and that's precisely why we need to be in touch with more of the wisest. Mayor Lynch's... I think the proper title is Sir Charles now. Sir Charles, a diligent, upstanding knight, loyal to our nation, to Victoria. He's been aboard his high-speed warship defending us at the northern border for close to 10 years now. Countless meritorious deeds, selected to be a steam knight, even at his young age. There's no telling how far he'll go. I hear he used to live in Londinium, I think right here in Otterig. To think of it, I've never heard anything about his family. No matter his family, he's a pillar of Victoria. Those with the honor of joining the Steam Knights are much different stuff than in times past. You know, the type people the court suck up to the monarch. Do I hear you ripping at someone? No, 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 I would hardly. Look, all I'm saying here is, you see how his Majesty is surrounded by such fine company like Sir Charles. While there are people out there who've done nothing but rest their own laurels in the ancestry's honors, they're a pale shadow in... Smack. Oh dear, whose child is this? What are you barging in the dining hall for? We get dragged off forthwith if you bother His Majesty or His Grace. Dress, that hair color, Richard, she's... the Cumberlands are not suck-ups. Deserve steam armor, will charge enemy lines and give our lives for His Majesty and Victoria. Miss Allerdale. So, Lord, Lady Martha, I'm dreadfully sorry. This miss is sitting unwell right now, and she doesn't mean to be rude to guests. I guess I should have put her to bed. The blame is mine. What do you mean the blame is yours? No one's allowed to sully the Cumberland's honor. I'll become a brilliant steam knight as my ancestors were. Just wait until I grow up. I shall prove it. I shall prove it to all of you. Excuse me. And don't run so fast. So, madam, I'll go fetch the mistress, if you'll pardon me. Well then, our Mistress Allerdale seems to be a fine, outspoken young girl. Hey, I thought we wouldn't have a chance to meet Miss Allerdale until the function tonight. How lucky of us, wouldn't you say, Martha? Children can always afford to be innocent and naive. But whoever you may be, you won't get away with growing up. Things don't always go as we plan, I suppose. Allerdale pants and gasps as she runs down a long passage. She meant to seek her father, and she has no idea why she squeezes her way into the tiny room. It's far from both the ballroom and the Duke's study, practically neighboring the attic. It's probably a fit of temper in this moment. She doesn't understand why her dad wants her gone, let alone why those posh-dressed visitors would say such things about Cumberland's. Every time life doesn't go her way, when she loses a cricket match or when her father, Duke, misses her birthday party, this is where she comes so she can have a chat with her old friend. They've all forgotten. You were the mightiest knight the Steam Knights ever had. My father taught me that true heroes aren't afraid to give their lives. They're even less afraid of being forgotten. I shouldn't have argued with them. I really want to grow up soon, then I'll become one of the glorious Steam Knights too, and rout all of our enemies. I'll make every single person who ever talked down to the Cumberlands too ashamed to lift their heads. I probably can't be as mighty as you were, but it'll be enough I could just be half or even two-thirds as mighty. Oh, but my father said that as a Cumberland I must hold the loftiest goals in mind, so you'll watch over me, won't you? I won't disappoint you, of course not. Is someone here? Is it Alice? She doesn't want to be dragged back the hall so soon. She stoops down. With a single step, leaps behind the steam armor she knows so well. The dilapidated suit shields her as if it was protecting the young descendant. Her dainty frame is completely concealed. A stranger's footsteps encroach. Most of her view is blocked by the suit. Can't make out their faces. The most she can glimpse is their distorted reflections. Time is short and the chances are few. We need to confirm a few things. Are you sure this place is safe? It's as secluded as any nook or cranny gets. The rest of the visitors are all in the ballroom still. No one's noticed us leave. Someone has. Not everyone lives to hang around opulent halls with nothing to do, Allerdale thinks to herself. I don't understand. Why not choose today? The lion's finally left his den for once, and hardly any of the guards are here. Assassination can't solve anything, and it won't. Don't tell me you're scared of the gallows, Mr. Dutyman. Compared to your fear of poverty, I'd say getting hanged's a lighter affair for me. I'm sick of spending my days with my brain and my wallet in others' hands. Chop chop, please. Even if the elder dies, they're still cubs. The crown remains sealed firm in their hand, muzzling us like draft animals. We can kill one king, we can kill a second. He just said, listen, we have to be patient. The Steam Knights have all been sent out. By the time they return to Londinium, the dust will have settled. What will they do then? Same as those Paragon few. They'll do nothing for their own gain and everything for Victoria. Even if it won't be handy to support our actions, they understand the decision from on high. That leaves the Royal Guard. At the parade, contain every knight of the tower. The key to seizing the city defense forces. Some dukes got fed up with it long ago. Allerdale's face pressed against the cold plate, but sweat nevertheless drips down her forehead. It grows harder and harder to not move a muscle, not to mention keeping her breathing stifled. Voice of two figures are gradually out of reach, then suddenly they're right before her. In a blink, she quivers, trying as hard as she can to not let her body slip into view, curling even her toes in. Hey, has this lousy thing always been here? First generation Steam Knight armor. First generation, that's over 200 years ago. It's antiqued by now, isn't it? I bet it'd fetch a pretty price. Haven't you seen the family crest? It's House Cumberland steam armor. Its old owner once stood before the Gaulish artillery in this, braced for 3 whole hours just so His Majesty could flee unscathed together with the shattered people. Only during the battlefield cleanup did people realize half the suit had been blown away, and the one inside may well have died soon after the bombardment began. But even dead, the knights still persevere, protecting their own king and kin, reluctant to fall so soon. And here you're one of Gaulish blood. I'm surprised you like reminiscing on these nobles' heroic deeds more than I do. Fundamentally, I just bear the respect for those we call heroes. Their belongings and your measurings of things don't mix. Even as Duke's home is raised to ash one day, the Cumberlands will never sell that armor. Damn noble sense of armor, am I right? utterly meaningless in my view. He's welcome to watch from his ivory tower all he likes, along with the rest of the dukes. No matter who the city's ruler nominally is, it won't make the duke's authority any worse for wear, at least for the moment. If he took the prudent path, he wouldn't be Cumberland. Why can't he just let go of his loyalty to the Lions? With colossal change about to greet Victoria, you'd wish he recognized where his loyalty should lie, sooner rather than later. What's going on down there? More men than you can count have surrounded the Duke's manor. What? Quiet, listen carefully. Intruders, palace underground, blade, thieved. Seal off all major streets, no one in or out. Can you hear what they're saying down there? They're searching for someone. Who? His Majesty's entire guard has moved out. They couldn't know we're meeting in here, could they? Could we do this? Faint noise comes from in front of them, sound like a gently drawing breath. Others hot pounds. Guess this is just a flashback battle. Not a problem. I'm not strictly going to require any of these.
Operation commencing. Let's go.
Alright. Ah, these guys inflict status effects. I should have realized. This is going to be quote-unquote fun.
On alert.
Should be pretty easy all the same. The only... Alright, so what the status effect does specifically is if it goes off, it reduces... I cannot gain skill points for the unit skills, and attacks deal necrosis, locks on. Yeah, I'm gonna need a wandering medic for this chapter, I get the sense. I can't gain any skill points, and he's losing skills, which by extension also means he's losing his stored charges. That's rather unfortunate for me. And there we are. Starting to think I might want to swap Amia to her caster form rather than guard. I can worry about it later, though. Allerdale. Not a good habit to eavesdrop. Listen to your father now. Only lowest scoundrels hide away in the dark. Plot the demise of another. They do it for their own benefit, but such stolen victories never last for long. These scoundrels, both of them. She doesn't want to be caught barefaced, especially not by these awful people. It'd disappoint her father, and bring shame onto the Cumberland's name. She can just climb out of the window. Just seize the moment. The soldiers are counting heads right now. We'll mingle with the crowd in the confusion. That way, no one will realize we were ever gone. You hear something? Must be some little house pest. Don't overthink it. How's a room so cramped supposed to hide anyone? Carefully, gingerly cowers inside of a shadow. Her most loyal ally. The tremendous suit of armor becomes her shield. Fingers feel the edge of the window. And if she can just climb over and out, she can avoid this duo's line of sight and climb down the gutter pipe. Her skirt's filthy by now. She won't be happy about this, but as long as she's not caught, it doesn't matter. Ah! Doesn't understand what happened. The sky and ground spun before her eyes. Inside of her head was whirling within. Her hands and legs lose all purchase. Her grasp and footing touch nothing but thin air. She plummets straight from the second story. The garden scenery screams like mad towards her head. Before she hits the soft soil, a soft yet ample cushion catches her. Cushion? No, it's not a cushion. She feels herself gently placed on the ground. She turns and looks behind. And creatures confined to legend stood before her. Must have leapt out of a fairy tale a moment ago, stood there imposingly in the garden. They really do exist. Their golden fur gleams as brightly as the sun. The one at the head has pupils of deep brown. Now they're calmly staring at her. Allerdale, brought by her father, has had several audiences with His Majesty and seen generations of portraits of Aslan kings hung on the palace walls. This is the first time she cannot help but urge to bow her head before such a gaze. For before her seem the ones before her seem more awe-inspiring than any monarch. Actual lions. Sci-fi headgear. Yet a Cumberland does not bow so lightly. Allerdale makes a conscious effort to keep her head held as high as it can go, and only then does she notice the one center carries a human alongside him. The girl must have been even younger than her, dressed in ceremony, languid sat atop his back and plated gold. In his mouth held a sword that outsizes the girl by far. Deep resonant voice arises in Allerdale's head. Allerdale Cumberland, you'll meet Vina again someday. It's the first time Allerdale meets them, and the last as well. In the over 20 years to follow, this sight will recur in her dreams, dreams of that august golden presence of the girl who was there with them. Until, like the Master of Beasts prophetizes, she once again meets the one named Vina. Look, that's Her Royal Highness Alexandrina. Perform His Majesty, we found her. She's the golden right this moment. Am I not saying that? Is that the missing? She's found the size of kings. God save Victoria, God save the king. Cheers instantly erupt through the garden. Servicemen, nobles, servants, everyone swarms. Her highness beaming a symbol of power. What a miracle it is. Hot tears fill the people's eyes. And one after another, they reach their hands out in joy. Saladay, what are you doing here? Attaché. See them? Them? Her Highness? She's the only one there, you know? No, they're golden. He just said something to me too. Something happened to you. Your skirt's dirty to high heaven. Oh, you're right. Not sure. Stars fell in the room upstairs. Steam Knight armor gave the scoundrels a beating. Understand what you're telling me. I feel dizzy. Need some proper rest. Who hasn't lost their head seeing all this? Far too much has happened today. Fortunately, since she had no way to identify the two who were plotting against the king, I don't think she could be helped too much. Of course, I guess since this takes place so far in the past, we know exactly how it all plays out. You see, Her Royal Highness Alexandrina came back with the missing size of kings. The cheers from the gardens are practically shaking the windows and walls. Hardly anyone believed their own eyes. Her Highness in the flesh. And at her age, how young is she still? Miracle, everyone's calling it. Just a miracle, of course it is. The greatest difference between miracles and coincidence is that miracles never descend for no reason in the time and place they do. It'll be His Majesty's birthday soon. How could I not consider this a magical affair after a splendid portent of things to come? Do give that a rest. They put on this whole auteur-style drama for the merriment of anyone watching. What I'm suddenly minding is the opinion some dukes have of His Majesty and our Duke of Cumberland. Leave it there. All worries the back burner for now. Dinner party's about to begin. You're quite right. Let's enjoy this evening the fullest. God save Victoria! It seems the people's attentions are on Alexandrina's adventure. Your Majesty, you knew before Her Highness would enter the cavern upground. There's a fine opportunity. With me out of the palace, the diligent guards could more easily chatter or perhaps sleep on the job, and thus let this little intruder of ours slip by. So you planned all this? Half of it was fine improvisation, if we're completely honest. He does a harmless little practical joke on us humans now and then. If he went along with this, does that imply he'd too consider this a necessary deed? Londinium will soon be for summer. Awfully stuffy days, torrents of rain time to time. You're planning to send Allerdale and the wife out of the city yourself, aren't you? Your Majesty, my intention has always been but one. Robert, you adore your daughter, and so do I. We're to wager everything for Victoria's present, but they are Victoria's future. On the off chance we do fail, we will not, Your Majesty. I'll ensure the worst case things does not happen if it takes my very life. I'm filled with great courage and confidence of our prospects. Still, it doesn't hinder me from planning just the most minute escape option for Alexandrina. She'll be ruling Victoria sooner or later. Is it so wrong to have her get grips with the city in advance? And a similar farce still more or less served in the right balance on this stifling seeming afternoon. For all this pressure, the people's spirits need a little boost. This is what we're here for. Of course, we all have some premonition, hence why I made these calculations, correct? Come, Robert, once you're done with your tea, we're due downstairs. I hear music. The band Dad and His Majesty invited? Yes, Miss Ardale, the dinner party's about to begin. Everyone's so happy. Aren't you too? Alshay, will the days go on like this forever? Me and you, Dad and Mum, will we always be together? I don't know, Miss Allerdale, but I believe nothing ever stays completely the same, just as the flowers in the garden. No, there are some things that will never change. I'll grow up and be a steam knight, just like Sir Lynch. No, even greater. I'll protect you all and drive every scoundrel away. I'll uphold the glory of Cumberland, just like my great-great-great-grandmother. I promise this, Sashay, you'll see. I'm not leaving Londinium. You're not allowed to leave either. I'm going to tell Dad. This is my home, just like every Cumberland's before me. I'll keep it and protect it until my life is over. I swear. This is
I was
absolutely...
very impressed by everyone's performance. It was fantastic.
This is absolutely adorable, and by extension, I know things are going to go to hell soon, aren't they? Well, I don't actually think we can avoid that. Let's see, what's the challenge mode for this? Casters all have increased attack. I'll give it one go with rabbits, but I have the feeling this is as far as I'll be able to go, win or lose.
We're heading out. Remember, mind your cover.
Please hold on.
Want Cruise Altar? Do I want... yeah, let's go with Cruise Altar.
Don't make any more noise.
I could probably win with just a handful here, so I'm going to do precisely that. But I want these 4 out here. Just by existing, she raises the stats of everyone on the field.
Ready. Prepare for battle.
Alright, here we go. I don't have a way to cure the necrosis, but that should be fine. This party isn't exactly heavily skill-based.
Your arts, I can cut them. Go ahead, Red. You're going.
Alright, let's go with Cruise Altar's ability. Oh dear.
Sneaky, sneaky. Come here to cover.
That should not have worked. I'm gonna be completely honest. That should have been a failure.
Well, a little pain's no big problem.
Now let's see here. Nobody can promise the King of Peace, but that won't stop them in their stride. More corruption. Rewards compatibility. Basically, if I beat it on the hardest difficulty, it costs twice as much, but I'll get the all rewards for all 3 tiers. Progress will be synced. And right now, since the chapter just released, everything will get, I will get a 100% refund if I fail. So you know what? Let's go all in. Rabbits again. Four years ago. St. Marshall College, in the district of London. Hey look, all these soldiers in Parliament Square, all the crossbows and cannons, you got nowhere to run. Stop crying, you're not supposed to cry. Chin up, you're playing the king. I'll have you all killed, I'll get my knights at the foyer. It's knights at the tower. Most of them surrendered, and all the ones who won't give in will be like you soon. They'll be tried in the fire rage of London. Who can try a king? Used to be nobody could. Maybe nobody else in the future, too. You're a dead end, your majesty. You've blocked Victoria's forward stride. Every machine in the city stopped on your command, plus you wanted to take the daily bread away from the suffering people, stealing every last penny of their purses. Our hands toil for nothing but tomorrow's sun. It's you and your greedy attendants that forced us to stain ourselves in your blood. Forward, soldiers, Victoria! Victoria, I am Victoria, you insolence. Victoria won't pardon you, even if I become a specter. First you run over the steps, then you fall down, then you say that. Who's that running around in the doorway here? Ralph, Anna, you pair of mischief makers. Miss Molly, we're just getting the fun part. Anna, quick, get on the steps. We're gonna do the hanging. Hanging? Who taught you kids such a cruel game? How the grown-ups since Lantward's Alley play. Oh, there's all manners there. Did you watch some kind of silly show? What did you see? Tom the Cobbler. He was drinking a lot of yellow stuff and it was dripping off his face. Then he ran up on stage while the others were there, yelling and screaming, "I won't let you disgrace his majesty. He was great among greats." That bloody Tom. No, that's not that language in front of children. What does he think? Taking children to a pub. Let's keep going, Anna. I want to play one more time for supper. It's your turn to be the one that dies. Ralphie promised you can't fib. Majesty, pardon these children for disrespecting you. They've never seen you nor heard your voice. All they know are rumors of you from the gossip peddler. Molly, you've never seen the king before either. You don't get to be all hoity-toity with us. Come on, Anne, I'm chasing you. Out of the way at traitor. Sooner or later, you'll be torn apart, the beast within. Children, this is hardly proper of you. If you don't want punishment, you'd best cut that out. Never let any of the clergy or teachers see. See what? Lady Goldling. Golding. Ralph, why are you so flustered? It's cause... Playing game, ma'am. It's really fun. A game? Very well, I understand. Return to your bedroom soon, and don't forget to do today's homework. Yes, ma'am. Additionally, Ralph, Molly may only be older than the two of you by a few years, but she's still your teacher. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Molly. Alright, listen to the man. Off you go. I can't believe you didn't scold the two of them. Ralph and Anna? Oh, I don't blame them at all. Children just don't understand what cruelty is quite yet. They have an innate desire to learn. If they can't learn anything proper from books, it's only natural they turn to other places. So many say that hanging transform. Lady Golding, do you agree? Ask the same question to different people and you only get different answers. Machines of Highbury's munitions factories certainly never cease to whir, but the ground houses of Otterig have had many change in ownership. Well, all I know is that these poor children still come in droves to our school each year, bless their hearts. They're in need of help, much as I was 20 years ago. Thank the school. If it hadn't lodged me, I would have died long ago of some illness or other. Only what happened earlier just gave me an idea. Idea? You mean the sets of plays you're holding? Indeed. Of course they're meant for the children, but they've only just learned to read. Won't be a little soon? Better this than all the showy stuff in the slantowards alley. For the young children, acting others' roles is tantamount to a game. The complex implications might escape them for now. They can at least get a taste of emotion and power within the words themselves. I do hope you're right. Comes with another upside too, no? The children won't be nodding off in any literature class anymore? I suppose so. What matters to me is that we can use up just a little bit of their energy. It'll be a great relief for me. Excuse me, madam, is bookshop's closing in advance? Oh, Mr. Adams, you're quite early to close the shop today. Haven't you heard yet? There was disturbance in the Duke's office in Camden this morning. Disturbance? What kind of disturbance would affect it? It's quite a ways away. One of the office admins was beaten to death. Duke of Stafford's nephew, apparently. Only just rocked up in Londinium a week ago. Oh, rest his soul. Have the police caught the murderer yet? That's the problem. Witnesses say the suspects campered into Defense Force barracks. Seal the street. Move. Don't let him get away. All eyes out. And now he's fled into Otterig. Hard to say, ma'am. Probably not simple. Strange. Are these the Defense Force's men? Mine might be playing on their tricks on me, but the uniform seems a bit different from what I remember. Got a friend who lives in Camden, ma'am. He says the soldiers just flooding the street, all of them wearing that uniform. There's even word that Duke secretly slipped into Londinium just yesterday. How though? Isn't that prohibited by law? Thank you, Mr. Adams. These books are too heavy. I'll pick them up next time. Molly, back to school as quick as I can. Wonder, is Golding the Allerdale under an alias? No one? Didn't they say they saw someone hiding in the alley? We can't let word of the Duke spread the city. If we do our entire operation today, damn blast. Didn't even see if it was a man or woman. What the hell are these intelligence agents doing in their bloody Londinium offices? Good for nothings. God, the Duchy's people running in circles around him. If you don't even have a description or idea of what to look for, it seems like trying to secure the area might be a fool's errand, but that's just my, layman's, in on the situation. Luckily, I just landed a bolt. Keep up the chase, I can't have... Oh, I see. So just look for the person with an arrow in them. Heidi. Wait. Lady Golding, did you see something? Something urgent? Well, you go back to the school, gather the children, make sure you don't stray on the streets. But you... I'm going to see a friend. Prepare some hot water and a clean towel in the office for me. I'll be back as soon as I can. Still use Heidi a decent bit. She's a pretty good free unit. Plus, it helps I don't have Scotty Alter, so a bard like her was absolutely welcome. I wouldn't be against Sora. In fact, I've mentioned debating on a few times, but her SP skill charges really slowly. I mean, say what you will about Heidi's skills being short duration. They charge relatively quickly, and also she has a passive buff that Sora lacks. Arr, man, sorry, bear with me. Schools are rather rudimentary. More often we have children falling over when making a racket. Not so much being shot by soldiers' crossbows. It's stop. Scant yearly donation to the school. We can't afford to hire that many staff. I have to moonlight as a school nurse a lot of the time. Ow. Seeing you move so silently on the streets, I wasn't imagining you'd feel the pain. No, don't jest me. Yeah, you're the only one in all of Londinium who I can truly catch my breath with. I can suture your wound, Heidi, but I cannot disinfect it. You'd be best off to a hospital straight away. Don't think so. Tell me why? I thought we were friends. The problem is if the police force are looking for someone with a crossbow bolt wound and Heidi steps into a hospital with a crossbow bolt wound, that's not going to end well for her, if I had to speculate. Golding, I shouldn't have come in the first place. I haven't wanted to pull you or the children in this mess. Of course the soldiers are after you. Are you really are they really the Duke of Stafford's men? Adam tell you that? I thought he'd keep... He's your friend and mine as well. He's the one holding the book club we met each other at. And don't you forget that. Ah, could I ever. You were a ruthless one then. A fast food work of pop culture subservience. It's only you fueling chatter between ladies of the house and girls at tea time. Your words for my newest work. Well, sounds like she's a pretty harsh critic then. Hope I did say the author's talent lies far beyond. Well, they do say that a true friend stabs you in the front, so if she thinks it's rough, I'm sure Heidi secretly appreciates having legitimate feedback to work with, even if harsh. And I hadn't conceived that the most tasteful talent of all Londinium's critics was such a simple, unassuming teacher. I could read into every line you've written, and for each one, 100 lines you hadn't. Those were your words, Heidi, uttered by you. But I doubt the unspoken understanding between us. Let me help you. Be more frank with each other, Heidi, just as we always have. Golding, did I ever tell you that years ago I had the fortune of meeting a Laterano cleric who wasn't a Sancta? She once lived in Londinium as well. She may well have some ties to the school's origins. Who is she? Golding, goodness. Hold on, you have a guest. Who might this be? A literary circle friend. Something the matter, Molly? Outside, ma'am. I thought you would have heard. From far away comes strange noise, the sort Londiniums are quite inured to. Now, there's a $5 word I don't hear that... Actually, I'm gonna Google it. Accustomed someone to something, especially something that's particularly unpleasant. Alright. Oh, whoops. They confuse them all too easily at first. The sound of exploding steam boiler carelessly lit, or the sound of a mechanical foul beast the children so love slicing through the air. But as the ground and building tremors become sadly apparent, the instinctual panic strikes everyone. By protection of the kings, Londinium has never once met a catastrophe before. What they face now is a different sort of menace. And in those long age, something serves. The nightmare of 20 years ago has come again. Sign of war. In the midst of the room's silence, the rumble grows thicker. It doesn't make sense. They were only catching a few criminals. Why would they bring out such a display of force? We could make every thought in the minds of our fellow men, many a tragedy. Make sense of every thought in the minds of our fellow men, many a tragedy would never come past. Molly, if you could check on whether the soldiers in the street are still there. Yes, ma'am. I have to leave now. I know. I'd love to urge you to stay, but we know full well that not even heavy artillery could stop you. I know you've noticed too, Golding. Another scene change is being wrought upon Londinium tonight. The Duke of Stafford's troops are on the offensive at Parliament Square as we speak. The Duke of Cavendish's men arrived at the outer wall a long time earlier. The coup over 20 years ago and the turmoil it brought were at least the briefest thing for the citizens, but this time I could not say. This will likely develop into an interducal war, and its epicenter will have been Londinium. I've come with some intel, and has the potential to save tens of thousands of lives. The sort of thing I need to deliver out of the city before tomorrow's daybreak. War, you say? I'm afraid so. Fire of war could spread to other cities at a moment's notice. Every Victorian needs to be making their preparations. Victoria's peace has endured for over 2 decades since His Majesty's passing. Many call it a miracle, but I long ceased to believe in it a miracle of any sort. No one would abandon their own interests, especially when its vastness is that of Victoria's. Instead, gave those with the stuff to plunder all the more to consider. We pitiful that live in this crack of history could only simply shut our eyes and proclaim it so. Peace. Who would have thought deathly illness would have suffered to such measures? Who could have predicted how the other dukes would respond? Without the efforts of people such as yourself, this war would have broken out 22 years ago instead of being delayed today. You're trying to soothe me, Golding. Only stating the reality, nothing more. You needn't reveal your goals to me, Heidi, let alone explain what your people have been planning these years. You need only answer me one thing. Will peace come again? That's what we've been striving for all along. We'll protect our homeland. That is the truth. Throughout the ages that we Victorians have believed in. Even if countless would die in the streets outside, even if with each end in sight upon the road of yours, the next preordained war comes to greet you. Indeed, because war will ultimately end. It may end at the hands of us or posterity. When the smoke clears in the skies shrouding Victoria, no more will the children's smiles be crossed with haze. Very well. I'm willing to believe in you, Heidi, to try and believe. Should I ever return to Londinium, Golding, then I will tell you everything. When we shall meet again. I remember that, and I remember promise. Well, if Golding ever becomes summonable, I certainly wouldn't mind reuniting her and Heidi. Alive. A sliver of light. Alright.
We're heading out. Remember, mind your cover.
Injections ready. Prepare for battle.
This is corruption.
Any more noise? Go ahead. I'm all ready and set.
Oh, dang.
Heal.
That's gonna be a little annoying.
My sword is cloaked in sea
Hmm.
shadow. Go ahead. Bye.
Alright. Oh, right, she can't aim down.
This your thoughts, your arts, I can cut them.
Alright, gonna have to do it this way. Bun Knights. Hello, Panda, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm trying to see how far I can go with the rabbits, but it's gonna be a little iffy, I can assure you of that. Yeah, I'm starting to think there might be a bit two more. I can't put anything in the bottom there to stop it. And I don't think air is going to be enough. Ah, darn it. Well, it's free. Regular or heightened? I'm going with heightened first here. I admit normally I just do normal mode first and then adverse, then the challenge mode basically, but I guess since I'm streaming I feel obligated to at least try and push myself a little. Corruption deals significantly higher damage, and oh crap. At least thanks to the event, I get a full sanity refund on failures. Alright, I might be able to do this with the keyword being
Operation
might.
commencing. Let's go. Incoming. Ready all members.
Alright, let's see if I can get the withered captain to go here. Lost all sanity, no playing home. Bye.
Go ahead. I'm all ready and set.
Oh, they're doing reflect damage. That explains why I was
Ready to
having so
heal.
much trouble. Well, don't worry. You get some refund on them thanks to the event, the release celebration event. Alright.
Oh, is it my head? I think you're going.
Music's pretty good. Alright, this should be enough to handle everything. If not, I don't think rabbits will be able to handle this, so let's push the bunnies as far as we can go. Crap. Yeah, he can't activate his skill while the necrosis is active. Gonna have to try and do this to deal damage here.
Oh, is it my... Here I am. Madame Chen's swordsmanship flows within this weapon.
Console activate skill.
Take it.
This might be a little bad.
This will not make me angry.
Alright, I couldn't stop that last one.
Put me the good use.
Oh crap, I can't use her ability now. This is gonna be close. The rabbits did it. The rabbits did it. Alright, good. I have known a few playing Honkai Star Rail. Glad to know it's going over rather well, but as I've mentioned, I've got a few too many gotchas in my rotation. I can't be adding any more at this point, or I won't have time for any other game, period. Some hours later. Ralph, where's Ralph gone? Oh, for heaven's sake, everything's a mess. How could he still be running about? His Molly, Ralph said the grown-ups mentoring artillery, but he's never seen it for himself. Oh, he can't have gone out on the street. They started firing. The bolts and shells are flying all over. I'll go and find him. Gotcha persona, granted. P5 is actually getting a gotcha. I was wondering how long until they did one of their O's. I know P5 has done quite a few gotcha crossovers, but, for those who aren't aware, there's kind of a meme going around where gotcha games that do crossovers with Persona 5 generally end up dying shortly after. So beats me how it's going to work now that the one that actually is basically Persona 5 coming up. Yeah, hopefully the gameplay's pretty good. Ralph, I... Come here now. Lady Golding. Yeah, good boy, I'm right here. Wah! Let's hurry back. It'll all be better then. It'll all be alright. Golding, Ralph, you're back. Oh, wonderful. I'm sorry, Miss Molly. Oh, you scared me to death, Ralph. Are all the children here, then? Yes, ma'am, I've counted them all. About just now. A shell landed nearby. Whatever for? Who exactly is warring with who? Doesn't make sense. Everything was fine this morning. How could this have happened to Londinium so suddenly? It's all... Don't cry, Molly. No tears for the children. Yes, ma'am. Alright, hold my hand tight. At least we are all in this together. We have the Defense Forces and the Steam Knights. They'll protect Londinium. They'll protect Victoria. Steam Knights. I think I just saw them. Were they the tall ones in all black? And there's a shadow from a street lamp, wasn't it? Liar, it's definitely one of the Steam Knights. Tom the Cobbler always goes on about them, how they're the symbol of Victoria's greatness. High all over the valleys and rivers, rumble ye rumble, tell us the sound, the thunder, and shall be gale, the grand knights of the Grand Victoria crowned. He's hyping them up pretty high, but, well, as I mentioned, Patriot mentioned them as one of the few things that were able to give him trouble before, so they're clearly badasses to some degree. That song was when I was little too. My singing teacher said that every year on the king's birthday we'd gather in the square and catch a glimpse of the Steam Knights in formation. Does Steam Knight really fly? Apparently, all they do is run really fast. Faster than any lightning or storm. With all the steam they emit, they must look like they're stepping on clouds. Some stuff is pretty close to flying. Like, I know in, like, the really early Superman comics, he didn't actually fly directly. He just had really good jumping ability. Hence the saying, he can leap a full building in a single bound. But he basically just made it straight up flying after a bit, simply because it's easier to work with, and can't really blame him. It's just a lot easier to work with, especially since it and some of his other powers. Like, you know that joke where a superhero lifts a huge item and then gets pulled into the ground? That actually would happen if you don't have a way to anchor yourself properly. But with the ability to fly, then you don't need to worry about that. This is pants. We don't even have a king now. I've never seen the parade once. Also, they told me their teacher once saw something even greater. It was the year Victoria just defeated Gaul to celebrate the then king's birthday. Dozens of steam knights all returned to Londinium together. Their suits were draped in the flags of Victoria, and once they'd all marched down steps of the palace of Westerlog, it was like one giant flag all at once. And then everyone heard a howl clearer than thunder. A howl? Yes, a howl. People were coming to say it was Victoria's emblem, the symbol of our flag coming alive. Because ever since that day, Victoria officially surmounted Gaul and became the grandest nation in all Terra's lands. I'm so sorry, Lady Golding, your father was Gaulish, I forgot. You need to apologize to me, Molly. My Ralph, hundreds of the children that grew up here all grew up as Londoners. Perhaps the same goes for that one suit of steam armor outside. You know a steam knight, Miss Golding? Charles Lynch. He used to live in Otterig. Tom the Cobbler was an old friend of his, hence why he loves the tales of His Majesty and the Steam Knights so much. In fact, Lynch was the last Steam Knight His Majesty ever titled in his life. And the last Steam Knight ever titled until now. Have they titled more Steam Knights since? Recently, I mean? The night drags on. For so long, the children hear every tale the Steam Knights told in Londinium. The first light's just broken. The sound of artillery stops sooner than they expected. Past the witching hour. The streets outside have more or less returned to silence, but no words are needed as they continue to stay huddled indoors. No one dares. Oh, whoops. No one dares rush to see the state out there. Every Londoner has been awakened the whole night. The same question circles in everyone's mind. Come next morning, will Londinium be different? The next day. Seems like everything's the same. Where have the Duke's men gone? I knew it. I knew the situation would come under control lickety-split once the steam knight showed up. I just didn't think it'd be this fast. Molly, some way or another, we're going to need to buy essentials. We don't know what might happen next. You two, what are you doing out here? Mr. Adams, excellent. For the children, knowledge is indispensable, especially under present circumstances. Mr. Adams, could you bring me the set of plays from yesterday? I'm afraid I need a few more, too. These fairy tales, along with the first step is mathematics, physics there. Copy of Home Medical Guide. You parcel all that. Wait, what's that noise? Not far away, sounds uniform footsteps. They're unlike those of Londinium or the parade. They're heavier and more urgent. Palace, the Shard, Parliament Square. One flight after another in seamless succession. The Otterug's most desolate streets, the center of Victoria's heart. As the footsteps press towards the most ordinary streets, some of those decked to the side of the street catch clear sight of the advancing army. Or better said, they clearly see the soldiers' appearances. The horns, each shape their own, condense an ominous black, not the rushing yawn of daylight casting a shine upon them. Sarkaz. They're mercenaries. They're mercenaries. I assume they'll leave soon. Then London will be the back way it was. Only they knew. They don't know yet, but in the years to come, many a thing will change completely. For one, the Sarkaz army will never leave Londinium, and for another, from that day forth, no one will ever see a steam armor in her streets ever again. Interesting, were they able to defeat the Steam Knights? Given they even gave Patriot problems. That really says quite a bit. 11-3. Ooh, free Heidi. People aren't obstinate, life is. Terrain and enemies will differ in places, and friendly units all having decreased defense. I don't think my Rabbits team will handle this, unfortunately. I can use my main team, however. I probably don't need another of these, so let me just Some snipers going. I can still use Cruise Alter, that's for sure.
Hi, everyone. I'm here to slack off.
I could probably still bring A or Scarp too, so let's do that. I don't need Surtur, but... Actually, there is someone I should be bringing here.
Squad 11 of Self-Salvation Corps, joining up with Rhodes Island.
Alright, there we are. Yes, since we're here anyways, we are in Londinium after all.
Tell me, is this battle inevitable?
Hey, how many? How many what? Oh, for stainless? Over 200, a crap ton of... The worst part is I barely even got any 5 stars. The majority of them were all Cliff Hearts. So yeah, a ton of Cliff Hearts and over 200 summons before getting stainless. But I have him. Yeah. Like Auk, I imagine I'm going to M9 him at some point, simply because he enables so many shenanigans and I love it. 1 year ago... Yeah, I was not particularly lucky here. I had about 135k Red Rocks and ended at like 10k left. So I actually got very, very worryingly close to running out without getting him. I guess the numbers say that I had to get him eventually, but the key word there is eventually. But the good news is he's the last major project I'm saving for quite some time. Unless the home server gets a new rabbit or something, I can pretty much just save for now. Almost dipped into skin money. Oh yeah, I was tempted to do that, but luckily I did not have to. I did buy Lee's skin, by the way. I don't have him, but Fishman will be coming home sooner or later, even if I have to drag him kicking and screaming from the shop in 2 years. Munitions Factory 11, District of Londinium. Oi, last batch of the polymer prep come in yet? What do you mean it hasn't? Ah, this takes the piss. Mr. Lee, leader of the Lee's Detective Agency. Remember the one I had 2 very disastrous banners with? Over 200 summons on the first one, over 120 something on the second. No Lee. It was almost a Stainless disaster too, but luckily Stainless was finally merciful. And that's good, because Stainless being a support means that he can basically enable all my other units, so basically my whole team is benefiting from having him now. Heard Lish instead of Lee. Well, I did call him Fishman. Although technically he's classified as the Dragon Race. I'm guessing it's supposed to be the Magikarp thing where he's based off where a carp becomes a dragon after finding a waterfall or something like that. Who is in charge of transporting these materials? It was the one in charge. What are you dithering for? It was Feist. Ah, that boy. He went out first thing this morning. Should have been back ages ago. Ah, who went with him? Tommy, Pato, and Day. They're not all from the same workshop. How do they all get on the same shift? They all get along like a house fire. Keep mucking together all at the same time. Feist their little ringleader. Bit of snag of the sounds of it. Small potatoes, nothing more. Small potatoes. Catherine, you know what day it is today, right? How could I forget? I've been fearing for my life. I'll upset our officer if I sign. You know, and it's like a foul scratch. I started practicing my signature 10 whole days ago. Lee like Lee, my Kingdom Hearts playthrough caught me. I've gotten a few misspellings of myself, either. Oh, yeah, I did actually get Paprika, and even though she's not very good, not very popular, I'm probably going to build her anyway, simply because she shares a voice actor with Aiba from the Somnium Files 1 and 2. For that reason and that reason alone. That's practice under your belt, then. The general's just stressing the importance hard on the handover. Stressing importance hard on the handover ceremony 2 days ago. Reportedly, Defense Forces head is showing too. Cigarette? Pass one here. You know why does all your factory's people stuck around until now, don't you? Work very hard. That's a given. You do work very well. We're alike in that regard. Work, get paid, scrape a living. but our employers know all too well the more exceptional mercs work, the less he can be trusted. Standard fare. Old manager of this industrial park, Sir Humphrey, never trusted us either. Before he dragged him away, anyways. Don't make trouble for me, Catherine. Mercenary's tone is placid, and the one thing he's the one asking if she wants to smoke, as he so often does. This is his job. Offering a few disobedient Londinium workers to him is almost the same as the screws she tightens on the daily. Catherine taps her cigarette in the bag. Can't have ash falling onto the machinery. I told you more times than I can count. If you want efficiency maintained, our factory cannot afford fewer workers. I admire you a fair bit, Catherine. Even the typical merc might not even have the guts you do. You got the stuff. Things is, it's possible to take anything too far. Londinium's got over 100 munition factories just like yours. Even if this whole place is dead empty, the Regent wouldn't care. Nothing will change. Ceremony will come the day after. We'll hand over everything as promised. All of our workers will be there. No need for you to worry about this thing. I'll take your word for it then. Of course. Not got a lighter? You're just holding the cigarette there. You hold on to it, after all. Londinium smokes always have a sort of engine oil to them. Can't even get over it. Catherine, what do we do? Inches it out. Off to the loading area. Hello, done there. Wait, what were your duplicate 6 stars? Siege and... Siege and Saria, that's right. Not bad, and honestly, I really should E2 Saria at one point, but... like I mentioned before, the reason I haven't felt obligated is because she's never felt lacking at all. And yeah, appropriate given Siege, how important Siege is the chapter. I hope the rumors that she finally gets herself Excalibur and gets an alt at the end is true. That'd be really neat to see her character development. I'm pissed they didn't give her Ryan Lab skin from Dorothy. Oh yeah, Saria could use... Well, Saria already has 2 skins. They probably figure they should probably give some more Ryan Lab operators some love. Plus, Saria is also top of the list for a lot of for a character people want to see an alt of, so... They probably figure they should probably work on that at some point. Although, granted, it does seem the next Ryan Lab event won't have one. To keep it vague for anyone who's unaware yet. Shadow done there? Just the screw left. Hold out, if this keeps up, they'll be waiting a whole week at least to get more Palmer prep. Palmer up to our ears. It's just batch after batch coming in. Hell, the Sarkaz building. That mad about it? Well, if it makes you feel any better, at least Saria has skins. Unlike Saga, who's still yet to get a skin at all. Seriously, I was under the impression Saga was a genuinely popular character. Plus, she's generally considered the best pioneer, so... Rather weird she still doesn't have a skin after all this time. Scene, Granny doesn't let me anywhere near the assembly line. Only most trusted workmates get to climb up that walkway. Longer this keeps up, the more it must be very important to the Sarkas. Gotta be a weapon, right? When pumping out auto crossbows to the Sarkas last few days in the workshop. Could only be. Still got so many ducal armies outside eyeing us. Be ghastly letting the Sarkas get away with this, I tell ya. We've got to stop him, Pato. We can't be helping the Sarkas fend off our own. Think it'd be any use if we destroy this BAP? Think we'd be sentenced? I'll step up if that's what it comes to. I'm not afraid to be taken in. Can't do that. Granny? Grab him. Pato, do it! On the fly, she grabs a small file and throws it. With a clang, the spanner flies out of his hand on the ground. Do you know what it is you're doing? Stopping the Sarkas. Making a scene. I got all planned. I won't drag any of you in. I'll tell Sarkar's eye, and then you'll die at Sarkar's hands. You're making yourself out as a hero, aren't you? I'll try and flee. I've been planning this for just about ever. Using the crawler you modified. You're hiding the cargo track and slipping out of Highbury that way. So you knew. I've been living this industrial park for over 50 years. Whatever silly business you try won't slip by me. Granny, listen to me. I received news. There's a rebel organization in Londinium right now. They've rescued a whole number of people. They've even taken back some plates. They call themselves the Self-Salvation Corps. We're gonna meet them. Are you now? And then? What? Are they lacking for smiths? Are you going to assemble and automate production pipelines for them? Design the next generation crawlers? You can't even put a single armament together. You're going to go up the Self-Salvation Corps and tell them you want to bash the Sarkaz heads in with spanners? I'm learning. I know the stories you told me. I gotta select to build the steam armor when you were young. I heard you spending night after night polishing the power conduits. I don't get it. We're Londinium workers. You've been teaching me that since I was little. You told me our factory built Modern Victoria. But now we're lowering our flag at the handover ceremony, raising the Sarkaz on sign. Then what? We're taking the assembly line. We're so proud of producing weapons for the Sarkaz with it. Those weapons end up pointed at Victorians. How can you live life like this? Like what? Life like this is our life. The life you and your parents have always been living. I mean, look at this factory. Kinda looks like someone would steal cheap booze and enjoy, and people would let her. Indeed. Does remind me, do we have that any granny operators? I know we've got some older male characters like Helliger. Oh, dang. Helliger looks pretty good for his age, that's for sure. I mean, no, Kalsa doesn't count. Yeah, I knew precisely where you're going with this. Oh, Cal's way older than 200 if her profile's right, and walk in the dust and all that. But yeah, Linginian? True, the Faronmuts probably, you know, yeah, the Faronmut probably count as well. Yeah, that works a little more since they're naturally long-lived as a species, while Calcit's a bit of a special case. The rules don't apply. Patriots about over 200 as well. Indeed. Nobles with towels longer than their surnames. Business tosses that live built on the trade, even the Sarkas. We have people posing as the master come and go. The assembly line's still there. The machines still haven't come to a halt. Each rivet that's passed through our hands is still in the place it's meant to be. Whoever might be accompanying the palace in the middle of Londinium, the city we built, will see tomorrow and the day after that. But I don't want a tomorrow like this. What kind of life is a life without freedom? It's being alive, and that's it. This factory, if Londinium is not ours any longer, what's the point of everything we made for it? You know, Feist, 25 years ago, that night when the flames lit up the sky, your dad said much the same thing to me. Boss, Sarkaz are almost back. You're free to go wherever you want, but from this moment on, you're forbidden from ever setting foot in the factory again, Feist. A worker who won't finish the job with his own hands isn't fit for the job. And wants to go with him, I won't stop you either. Just remember, you step out this door, you're no longer one of us. So this is how we got with the self-salvation core, eh? Well, sometimes you gotta stand up for what you believe in, even if it means closing some doors behind you.
We're heading out. Remember, mind your cover.
Steam tank. When its HP draw greatly increased, becomes immune to control effects. Yes, Eben. Oh yeah, I haven't gotten too many spoilers about this chapter, but I have heard Eben absolutely obliterates the boss. I don't think we'll be getting that far quite in this stream, since I'm reading out the story as well as fighting, but... Oh, don't worry, I'm going to be using Eben as much as I can, especially since I really do like his, Oh, you did pull Eben. Well, congrats. Personally, I've been liking his second module a bit more than the first one, simply because it turns him into a better splash caster and also makes it easier for him to keep charges. Because, you see, remember how Eben has a guaranteed... remember how Eben stores... keeps a spare charge that's only used against bosses or elites? That counts as a stored charge for his second... for his second module, his module Y. So in other words... He will always fire his charges quicker while he has that one stored. So if you're in a map like this with no elite enemies, he'll simply have a core caster's speed,
The
basically.
battlefield. A place where lives are taken.
I'm gonna place her here because if I can get these charges, I think we'll be in good shape. However, we're gonna be a little... Oh my, these things are quite tanky, aren't they? Well, Stainless.
Picked a good place for me.
I have his skill 1 or 2.
It's not my wish to
Here we go.
lives.
Pulled so much from before the Gavial banner didn't come home. Ah, crap, I lost someone. Alright, I'll just pay closer attention next time. Alright, but in the general... Actually, in the general sense, it does seem like those, Does seem like those guys just circle around for a bit, so I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright. Luckily, Eben came relatively quickly for me, and I guess that's where all my luck went, since, as mentioned, I was not quite so
According to the
lucky with
nail,
the
the
stainless.
kingdom was lost. What pain. A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Alright, that should work for now. Okay, so I noticed when these guys die, they explode into a damage aura. That's not fun.
This is...
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Alright, I'll get him here. Oh dear.
Get lost.
She's not gonna last any longer.
Extraordinary melodies can only
Well,
be
that didn't work
played
as well as
by
I
a
was hoping.
soul that quakes.
Really, does this not count as arts damage? Because remember, Zerny passively reflects arts damage. Oh, that's very frustrating to know.
Shall I open?
Let's just get this done with.
About time for us to shine? Hold the barricades!
Is there any girl expelled from the city still returns to rescue it?
Acknowledged.
Alright, we're gonna get Silver Ash here.
On alert!
Oh, even a virtuous king must from time to time look to the sword.
Oh boy, more of those guys.
Made up your mind. Art thou mine worthy enemy? Or art thou not but a
That's a lot of
jest?
damage. And he can't hold those all by himself. Might be special tribute for the laser, but regular attacks might be arts. I don't think stainless is a bad option for this map at all, but I probably need to be a bit smarter about unit placement. For example, placing someone where they can actually get healed by Heidi would probably be in my best interest, wouldn't it? Well, no need to be conservative with my, sanity.
A smith's gotta be ready to pay the debts accrued by the weapons she forges.
We'll take them out. My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
Stainless, you're up.
Picked a good place for me.
He lifted his slaughterer's blade,
Alright, increase the
not
defense here.
believing that he could earn the love of a different line.
Very well.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
It's not my wish.
My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
What are you planning? Fool! For what reason hast thou come?
Almost lost Silver Ash there. But what matters is we can get rid of these guys, I think.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
There we go.
What are you planning?
That's done.
Yes?
When 'tis a choice of life and death, why shouldst thou lay down thy arms?
The performance will begin soon.
Alright,
But
let's
it
get Eben
seems
here.
our audience can't contain themselves.
The girl, expelled from the city, still returns to rescue it.
Hinfort aus meinem Kopf!
He's prioritizing that thing. Interesting.
About time. Fight for Londinium! Victory for Londinius!
A knife, a life. Weapons are the basis for society.
Faster tempo.
Alright, so those guys don't count as elites. Good to know.
On
You
alert!
can probably put Cruz over here since I don't think she's gonna be hit there. Thinking about Stainless's accent sounds so modern, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't either, but I like it.
I'll bring you back victory.
A knife? My body burns at oak.
Bye!
Airscar, back him up, please.
Faster tempo. As startling as a tritone.
Let me witness the young
Make
prince
sure
saw
he's
the
Stainless
other
survives,
reach for the
if you
crown,
please.
And he raised his sword.
Yes.
Increases his defense
mine,
multiple
Sid.
times. Stainless is surprisingly tanky. I appreciate that.
Faster tempo.
Probably should have given Heidi this so I can get her skill up a bit more.
Let me witness he lifted his slaughterous
That should help
blade,
out a lot.
not believing that he could earn the love of a different line.
I'm definitely going to M9 Stainless eventually, but I'm tempted to go with his S2 first. Technically speaking, you don't have to, though. If you mastery his skill 2, he does not actually get better as an SP battery. All that he gains more is his damage for the Centurion effect. But that also does mean he can hold the line against weak yet numerous enemies, so it has its situational usefulness. Lets him pull double duties when you're also bringing him for the SP battery. Several days later, Lieutenant Colonel Leteau. Well? Inventory check. The slot of factories handed in its designated amount of material. Excellent. Miss Catherine, as you know, taking on Londinium's hundreds of factories and ensuring their smooth operation is by no means a simple feat. Thus, my only option is to personally see every handover completed. Some unpleasantness always comes part and parcel, but this handover out of this final set of factories has been the smoothest. I must thank you for your willing cooperation, sparing me so much time. I just don't want to do anything that'll be of no avail. Admire your attitude, Miss Catherine, but I'm afraid your heart of hearts doesn't agree with you. You mean... I hear a few days ago some workers fled. In any case, I'd like to take stock of personnel while I'm here, and have a look at your factories' names. Sounds really good for SSS. Yeah, like Stainless is a buffer and enabler for other strategies, so that's why I wanted to focus him over all the others, because as strong as absurd as some of the later ones like Texas Alter are going to be, the fact of the matter is Texas Alter, Penance, etc., they're all just stronger version of units I already have, while no one else can do what Stainless can. Yeah, I think S2 is probably going to be one of the most popular skills for Stainless, but again, they're all really good. Like his skill 1, if you put 2 buff bots on the same person, they actually get a 96% attack buff. That's even more than Warfarin, if you recall, because Warfarin only quote-unquote only gives 90% damage increase. So the fact he can reach that is pretty impressive. Although his S3 also is pretty fun. I mean, part of the reason I pulled for him is because I saw some videos of people using La Pluma with his turrets to create a firing squad, and that seemed like a lot of fun. It was my grandson who ran. Catherine. Oh? Young uns tend to do without thinking. Very plain dealing with you, but frankness alone will not quell this matter. Sir, I can't guarantee you anyone under me is of one mind. I don't have that capacity. I can only guarantee this factory has handed in its designated material quota. Can I ascertain you're asking me to let him go? Ain't a single tyke, every hair on his head out of place. He's hardly going to affect this factory's operation. Oh, but you could. I've heard about your past deeds, Miss Catherine. No wonder you were chosen as the workers' representative, a woman of honor, and I esteem you for it. We must always nip these problems in the bud, or are you able to guarantee your grandson won't become a traitor, such as if you join that self-suffocation corps that's all the vogue? I've no need to guarantee it, sir. Young'uns always think they can do something. Always turns out they don't know what it is they're facing. They'll just nip themselves. I understand your sentiment. Indeed, pursuing a single escape worker pales in comparison to the gravity of ensuring a dozen factories continue to stably operate. I can overlook this affair, but I do hope you're able to keep your promise. As long as I'm in charge of the factory, there'll never be a problem. Excellent. In that case, we can get over the handover ceremony. Just our damn luck. I wanted to go to the factory and watch the flag raising. Quit griping. You can see it from here anyway, so tough it out. There's none of the gravitas here that you get watching on site, and you know it. Man, who the hell knew we'd actually take Victoria's capital? Dream of that in the past, you'd kick yourself. True enough. Still, next comes the hardest period. The Dukes have all eyes on us. If they're good for anything, they wouldn't have. We wouldn't have seized Londinium so handily. That was close. Phew. Luckily, these mercs have no idea the plate has a gap you can get onto here. Makes his way to the pipeline entrance. He's done his survey, somewhere along the passage's connection to Sudian. But now on the verge of setting foot, he has doubts after all. He wasn't kidding. Pedo, he thought over every difficulty he might potentially face. Critically, though, what he never said was that he didn't have a plan for every single problem. Granny wasn't wrong after all. He's just a smith, and he has a head that passes for smart and relatively hardworking. These two things ensured he could muddle through life fine in Londinium's peaceful years. There's no telling if they'll save his life right under the Sarka's noses. Tommy's right. One of those massive hulking metal lads were around. He's all grown up, he's never seen a single steam knight before. I think they mentioned them last chapter now that I think about it. I just remember them Patriot because, well, anyone that can give Patriot trouble is going to be a problem. View of the sky can't help but being minuscule from within. The ever-changing shades cast like projection down the factory. Never changing is the sound of the assembly line, one hunk of metal striking another, as well as the sight of old Granny staying at its side. Think it's dull, don't you? Hold on to your hammer and spanner tight. If you want to do something, you gotta persevere. You strike once, you got nothing more than a hunk of beaten metal. You strike again and again, you can make steam armor. Strike again, and then your child or children's children carry on the striking. We got Londinium. Should he head back? Go in? He has no idea. Far away comes the sound of a Sarkaz bugle, and Feist follows the sound. Atop every factory stands a flag. That flag stands Victoria. Not once since this factory's founding has that ever changed. But that, as of today, has changed. Sign here, Miss Catherine. Without hesitation, upon the document that embodies the transferal of factory authority, signs a practice signature. And now the final changing the flag. Go. Yes, sir. Stay, Miss Catherine. Be what it may, you may currently witnessing history. Sir, can I light a smoke? By all means. Sir, just as you've heard of me, I've heard of you too. Oh, Gaul. Yes, my father was a Gaul loyalist. That is no secret. If you're querying me now how I feel about this moment, Miss Catherine, an instant of joy that there was no bloodshed throughout this procedure, but outside of that, my heart is filled with nothing but sorrow. Not far away, the soldiers ferry the flag that stands for them. Meanwhile, an additional two prepare to lower the current one. Catherine can see the happiness in their faces. Beyond them, the resplendent sunset glow. Catherine knows it all signifies the dark isn't long away. Feist turns his head. Or is it Feist? Not Feist? From his position, he just happens to be able to see the factory's flagpole towering high. He stands there and watches as the Victoria flag descends foot by foot. A moment later, foot by foot, the flag of the Sarkaz rises, as if nothing's changed at all. He takes a deep breath and then sets foot inside the pipeline. Sounds like that might have helped his decision a bit. It's pitch black within. Apprehensively, he sets off for the direction of Sudian. He recalls. All of Londinium's munition factories have now completed the handover, and on this day, they've exchanged their Victorian for those of Sarkaz. They flutter in the breeze. Auto-deploy now available. Probably a good thing since this is likely where I'm going to need to be farming that. Cutscene, huh? Well, first things first, I'm going to grab a sip of my drink and stretch a moment simply because it's been a bit, and VN-style stuff like this can be a bit taxing, on especially on my throat. Ah, feels a lot better. Oh, I have a reward here? Sure, quick clicked. Given all the chip catalysts I spent on, stainless, I'm definitely going to appreciate the free ones, although I imagine they're intended for, someone else. What is sought but a peaceful land that allows survival. Palace of Westaleg, Londinium. Even before Londinium was a nomadic city, the palace stood here. Its name was originally Plain Westaleg. The Draco royal family convened its ministers here in this place, and used their beloved golden ruby to decorate the outer walls. An actual dragon's hoard. I imagine they don't see too many of those anymore. Said decorations went up in flames during the Great Fire 300 years ago. Still, the building's skeleton remained and bore witness to the first Aslan king's coronation. Thereafter, Westaleg formally became the Palace of Westaleg to commemorate the Age of Peace and Prosperity founded by Draco and Aslan kings in joint. 26 years ago, the last Aslan king was captured in the same place by Parliament's standing forces. And now, this is no longer the building where the Parliament assembles. Sat at the conference tables but one person, not Draco or Aslan, but Sarkaz. Therasis. Still no sign of movement from the Duke of Gododin. Ever since the Viscount's life was attempted, our activity in the Dements has been greatly restricted. Lavish salons held every night the Duke of Normandy's residence, but the flow of raw steel is extremely suspect. All intelligence personnel have turned up empty-handed. Any sound from Dublin's drowned out by the Duke of Wellington's high-speed battleships roaring. We've as of yet been unable to penetrate into the Iron Duke's duchy, but no other duke will be able to impede the veteran without a doubt. Marquess and Co. have finally given up the Duke of Stafford's intelligence. The Duke of Castor admitted envoy using gifts New Year's Eve. If I remember right, a Marquess is basically a duke, but usually handles the borderlands. Usually the slightly more trusted ones, simply because they're the more likely ones to get attacked. I know this entirely because of Fire Emblem, and got me to look it up. It got me to look it up way back. Activity from all dukes has been increasingly frequent since last winter. Maybe a sign they're about to reach a conclusion. Preparations for Londinium remain at the same pace as... Hold on a moment, sorry. What? You're sure? Lithuanian, 3 days ago? This is too slow. Yes, it looks like they finally found results after their diplomatic peacemaking. Diplomatic peacemaking. New cipher has just been decoded. Oh, that was the terminal this whole time. Thursis hasn't said a word. New cipher's just been decoded. It's a word from the frontline general. Yeah, I need to notify you ASAP. 3 days ago, the Empress's voice, grandiloquently, grandil, grandiloquently. I'm going to Google that. Hold on, that is a $5 word if I've ever seen one. Here we are. Pompous or extravagant in language, style, or manner, especially intending with the purposes of impressing. Yeah, I've never seen that word before, so forgive me for taking a moment to want to check it out. Left the Duke of Windermere's months. Gulp. We didn't discover contact between the two sides. Just today, a city of fortress changed course. It's sailing straight for Londinium. The one's been nearest us for the past 2 years, pushing directly from Lithuania to the Victorian border, nearing the ravine. Yeah, it's Kurfürst's arch enemy, Duke Windermere's army. Duke Windermere announces intentionally this is to avoid catastrophe. Silence once again hangs over the hall, but this moment, with eyes shut tight, Therasis sees a thick fog outside of Londinium. Once it clears, the battle will come again, right on schedule. Footsteps break through his train of thought. He's forced to open his eyes. Therasis, it's you. Sleep, perhaps. The Victorian dukes are a cunning lot. They meticulously sift through every word of intel that flows through, making the Sarkas lose their heads. The advantage isn't ours this gamble, yet neither have we been at a disadvantage. Military commission's business is always endless, such as our history's fragility, and every single comment on a piece of information Ari should suffice forever damn Casdell. But even now as we stand in Londinium, things have hardly changed much. We're still as weary as ever. No, one thing has changed. You're here. Ah, yes I am. The breadth of possibilities has crossed my mind if it were to take my head. Perhaps you would make a much cleaner job of it than I. You would never think that way yourself. That was a hypothetical put forth by Manfred. I'm always in need of some differing voices. What's on your mind right now? A dream. Oh, I saw us in Londinium, yet unarmed. Clouds enveloping the city, black stones growing, and the Sarkaz there in the way, between catastrophe and the crowd. Once the disaster lifted, Londinium city gates were wide open to us, and the Victorians stood flanking the streets, cheering and welcoming us in. We entered this place, and the one sat on the throne no longer feared the black stones that grew from us and took our hands. We called the Sarkaz friends. It sounds unfathomable. There was no more. I saw a vampire, Niger, and went. I'm tripping over my own words right now. Sorry. Like I said, these can take a lot out of my throat. It reaches into more northern than even Ursus, casting fragments of strange monsters back into the frigid sky. And I saw Benchian. See, darn these Sarkaz offshoots. I'm really horrible at pronouncing the majority of them. They venture into parts more southern than even Iberia, walls against the ocean's descent within the boundless water. Countless Sarkaz giving their lives for this land. Aslan, Draco, Feline, Caprine, Libre, we stood together with them. Stood together? Yes, they were Sarkaz were no longer the nomads excluded. The land embraced us, and we had roots anew. This dream? This dream is not mine. The scenery all originates from what you once described to me, a future the Sarkaz could have. I remember. You told me then that my ideals were too distant. That it was not only our enemies who could never comprehend me, but neither could the Sarkaz. A myriad years of grievances became our weapons, one and all imposed upon me. You also told me the flames of war within the Sarkaz would tear them apart before I led them the future. That was more likely in all respects. But you begrudge giving up any possibility, even if it may be but a nascent spark. You also said this was once not only the Sarkaz's, the ancients and elders wrestled our homeland from our forebears' hands. Their souls still murmur the Sancta's betrayal, how the royal court withers like autumn leaves, and our bloodline is lost in howls of grief. How ridiculous the sinners are in forgetting history. Now Casdel's ruins strew all across Terra. And then they cry out, the Sarkaz invaded our homeland. No better the Sarkaz believe in the fight. The fight can hurt our destinies together as one. Better than peace. This isn't fair. To rule is a method of coexistence too. Terra will perish by its own hand before confronted by those old questions. But our homeland will be more magnificent than the many of the sea born. Our hexcrafters would hold the northern menace at bay. Our knowledge, all-encompassing, would dispel Originium, end the catastrophes. Before all that, Sarkaz must reach an answer. You're right, they must. This is a conversation we've had countless times, but now you can hear the voices clearly. You can make real contact with your ancient soul's tendrils. So tell me, Theresa, did this myriad of tears of all the Tikka's souls that lived and breathed, pass from life from the other shore to death, did they ever receive a momentary respite? I've already failed, Theresis, because you're a move behind. Because at this moment, it is we that stand here. Londinium. Tell me, Theresa, Golden Age return again. Yeah, the A-Gear have some pretty ridiculously absurd technology, since, as we saw in Stultifera Novice, just one came, introduced some of their tech, and they basically entered their whole golden age of technology, via trade and knowledge and all that. We stand up atop the shard and look at the city. What does it see? The victorious nation lush with ingenuity. Without a doubt, in a few short centuries, we built nomadic cities, withstood catastrophe, even attempted to control the storm. Not to mention those knights of white steam. The vigilance of those steel suits of armor that ventured into Kazdel 200 years ago falls short of that which I saw in the years to follow. Ah, perhaps that's the fault of our unique blood, for granting so many of us lives far too long. So long that in the intervals between one war and the next, we lift our heads only to realize that, accepting the sarcasm, everyone else progressing on. No, it's nothing to do with the length of an individual's life. They have the opportunity to progress simply because in the past they monopolized the freedom to choose between peace and war. Teresa, when I look at the Londinium, is it Theresa or Teresa? Likewise, is it Teresis or Therasis? I see the number of times this nation's gone wrong. Victorians scorn how primitive the Sarkas are, yet in essence they simply use the rules of culture they founded to the greed and violence that runs in the deepest marrow. They tear at each other incessantly. Ultimately, everything they've made will be ruined by their own hands. That is why we could win this chance at freedom. Even if hope is still as remote, I won't give up any possibility. Yes, in that regard we've always been so alike. The residence of Duke of Cumberland. Yeah, this is where we left off in chapter 10. I was about to say 11, but wait, no, this is chapter 11. Ovicia. Amia, Doctor, our messenger has just sent back some key intel. The main Sarkas forces are on their way back to the city right now. It is extremely likely this means they're about to wage war with the Duke's armies. But given the previous intel, even if they do return to Londinium, the Sarkaz military won't be enough to directly contend with all the Dukes. With the Sarkaz choosing to act now, they obviously believe they've grasped some key power that'll sway the situation for them. He wants to go to chapter 12 already. I have only heard vaguely things about chapter 12, but I've heard it's significantly more annoying than this one. So I'll be sure to enjoy that this chapter doesn't have too many gimmicks to it. Just some straight up powerful enemies in the general sense. Guess it's, in that case, I guess it's good my Eben and other powerhouses are ready. And of course I have Stainless to help me out as well. Either in raw buffs or SP batteries. The Shard. Chapter 10 was more annoying than 11, in my opinion. Yeah, the cannon was kind of annoying. I'd have an easier time now, especially since I have units like Zerny who can actually survive a hit from the cannon without dying, but I didn't at the time when I streamed it, so I had a much more rough time. The CC based on Chapter 10 I actually had a much easier time with, thanks to having more units developed in the roster there. Though granted, that CC was also designed so that it was very easy to use the cannon in your favor. I mean, Act 1 tag was the cannon stronger, which made me think, doesn't this one already basically one-shot anything that's not a hard tank? That's probably going to help me more than them. And yeah, it was basically a free tag, because a stronger amount of true damage to all enemies is far more helpful to me than it is the enemies. Skyscraper the Sark has occupied. Learn there's weaponry concealed in the building, yes, but will that truly be enough to sway things on its own? It will, Clovicia. Have you heard your people even taken note of the storm above the Shard? Oh, those dark clouds seem highly unusual. According to the intel we've obtained, that's no normal storm at all. That's a catastrophe the Shard is causing. Even if it is entirely the same as a true catastrophe, the Sarkaz want to cause a catastrophe. They're still in Londinium themselves. What would they gain from destroying a city? What if they can control where the catastrophe lands? We're not just conjecturing the Shard's purpose. This weapon, or rather this technology, is exactly Rhodes Island's chief objective in entering Londinium. Rhodes Island came for the clouds shrouding Londinium. Yes, it's not just a figure of speech. In the eventuality that Theros does activate the Shard, he'll lead the flames of war and storm together upon those he sees as the Sarkaz's enemies. No catastrophe messenger could predict a man-made catastrophe's course. No nomadic city could escape such a catastrophe's assault. Countless Sarkaz and Victorians will die in that battle, and it'll likely serve even more tragic for those who survive. Most of them will end up infected as a result. Not to mention, the Shard isn't on the border. It's in Londinium, the nation's very capital. Which means... once the technology is complete, it can reach anywhere on Terra. Sarkaz will use Victoria's power to destroy her. If we reach that stage, then everything the core has done will be for naught. Even if we could rescue people from the catastrophe as Rhodes Island does, Londinium and our livelihood would be past the point of no return. Clovicia, Rhodes Island is greatly thankful to the Self-Salvation Corps. Without your help, we'd have had no good way of getting into central Londinium. And neither I nor the Doctor will lie to you. No matter how Rhodes Island plans to approach the Shard, the battles ahead will be brutal, each more brutal than the last. If we can't stop Therasis within the next few days, we'll be facing an all-out war, and the Dukes will march an eye to enter Londinium. If the Corps chooses to wait for the Duke's armies, Amiya, we can't do that. I'm the daughter of a textiles merchant. Most of the fighters, in fact, are just ordinary civilians. We have workers, farmers, tradesmen, crafters. Our backgrounds are a tapestry of millions, together with the one goal of driving the Sarkaz out of Londinium as soon as possible. That's why the Corps won't place all of its hope in the Dukes. Otherwise, we have never been able to take a stand ourselves. Our greatest fear, if it comes to it, won't even be Sarkaz controlling the Shard. It'll be the Dukes dropping any shred of thought for the ramifications. So, the Corps has no intent for suspending operations? Correct. On the contrary, with the war on the eve of breaking out, there are some things only a Self-Salvation Corps can do here within Londinium, such as wrecking the line from the rear. You think alike, Doctor. Should the Dukes wage war, the Sarkaz will surely have preparations made to hold Londinium. Being a steel fortress, Londinium is very self-sufficient to an extent. However, the actions within the city have long since outstripped that load. Still, unlike Londinium's previous master, the Sarkaz don't get a drop of evidence support from any of Victoria's other cities. In comparison, while the Dukes do act on their own liberties, they each do have their own steady amount of supplies. Supply line. Sarkaz do have some kind of supply line, definitely. Completing the shard has been a multi-year undertaking. The idea they're relying solely on Londinium's practical own production is practically impossible. It originates outside the city, and its terminus is in a Londinium munitions factory that builds weapons of the Sarkaz. Right, if we can locate the supply line, we'll be able to delay the birth of a superweapon. Commander Clovicia, cooperation's still our best choice. Afraid so, Doctor. We need more intel on this munitions factory. The Corps has a fighter who knows Highbury in and out. Doctor, you know him well. Feist. Right, he's the most suitable candidate for the mission. With some minor preparations, he'll lead everyone from the Sarkaz Watch for the munitions factory. We still need other more concrete source of info. The Defense Forces Command HQ. The tower located at the border between Otterig and Highbury boroughs, and it controls the info network for the entirety of Londinium's defense systems. Given the supply line can penetrate Londinium, there must be records of it lying somewhere within the system. Those traitors in the top brass, right? Commander Leto threw himself into the Sarkaz a few years back. It'd be pointless to try and win backing from a treasonous. If we plan to raid their command tower, we need some other way to seize the system privileges. Of course, method aside, there's still the fact our troops desperately need new armaments. The Sarkaz have placed their sights back in the city interior, and our supplies are stretched thin. I'll think of some way to address the supply needs. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about her. When it comes to keeping Londinium going day to day, there's still scarcely a Victorian trader who's fallen in line with the Sarkaz. Okay? However, in return, there's a different matter of what I need you all to help me out with. Clovicia, Rhodes Island has brought Artorius' relic back in Londinium. Artorius, that's the surname of the royal Draco descendants took. Exactly, I've already checked with the doctor and Amiya. It's the Artorius key, without a doubt. And that key opens away the door of the Mausoleum of Kings, which means we can retrieve the Emperor's blade, the size of kings. Its significance goes beyond what an ordinary citizen would ever imagine. Trust me, please. It's not just a pretty piece of steel bestowed with symbolism. We say the shard is Londinium's great... She's like the anti-hero. Looks like one, actually. Yeah, that is true. I forgot her because, well, if we're blunt, she only appears at the tail end of Chapter 10, so I genuinely forgot her and her name. But I imagine she'll be a bit more important here. The truth of the Victorian Realm Blade and the Mausoleum of Kings, that would be Londinium's true ace up our sleeve. Victorian Realm Blade, isn't it just symbolic? Only a few nobles along with the Victoria's rebel family know about it, and I happen to be Cumberland. I believe you. The Mausoleum King is practically a thing of myth, but if a royal key can open a door to it... I mean, how exactly did Rhodes Island even get this key? Or, should I have not asked? We won't conceal the key's history, but it isn't Rhodes Island. It bears tales upon tales that I was never part of. I could never tell you. Rhodes Island's time with it, though, I can tell you bit by bit if you're interested. Thank you, Amiya. Just floored. The legacy of Artorias. The truth of the shard. It's as if Rhodes Island's really been preparing all these years now to be here today in Londinium. But I won't delve into it any further. I won't make anyone else either. It might lose us an important ally. Phew. Okay, Amiya, Doctor, do you have anything else you wish to tell me? There is one other thing, in fact. Lovicia, about my background. I'd like to have a chat with you. Flowers. Doctor, look at the flowers. They're growing. Amazing. In a place like this, the middle of Londinium, in Sarka's occupied city. Can't be the same for those around Miss Allerdale. You're both quite right, Doctor. Miss Amiya. Despite it being slightly neglected these past few years, the Duke of Cumberland's Manor is still Londinium's most iconic building. I have not much recollection of my home outside the duchy. My childhood memories mostly tie back to here. Nobody would ever truly leave this place to rot, would they? Miss Allerdale. In fact, she went to lay everything bare to Miss Clavisia. Well, it turns out your crew were already wise to Her Highness's identity. Didn't expect that, I'll confess. Bean and I do get along quite well. Well, that replies of your surprised me even more. Rhodes Island knew who Her Highness was, yet you've been willing to treat her as Vina, leader of the Glasgow gang. Give Clovicia and Vina some time. The Corps have their disagreements when it comes to nobles, you know, and Her Highness is going to have a lot to say. I'm sure you have questions for me too, mysterious little bunny. I'd like to jibber-jabber a little with the enigmatic Rhodes Island myself before it's time to mingle with the merchants. Miss Allerdale, is this residence truly secure? Rational question. Circas naturally have their motive for not flushing out the nobles in Central. Londinium is a massive city. There's far too much for them to mind. But we've already paid a tremendous price to sit in the middle of war unscathed, Ms. Amiya. Dignity or what have you is the least valuable part of it. Given the chance, I'll explain to Rhodes Island in detail, but Sark has informants surveilling the matter under our control. And for now, I ask you to trust me. They haven't realized we've infiltrated them. They're wrong to believe Londinium city nobles lost their every weapon after being isolated. Their mistake. Still have someone to counter Sark's surveillance. Provisionally. No, if Her Highness decided to be forthright with the Corps, then it's not my place to be covering that up either. For the sake of a smooth partnership, I can explicitly guarantee you that even now, the Cumberland residence has people who can establish extra-city contact. That's going to be useful going forward. Oh, but the Sarkas aren't fools. They're well-versed in war. Indeed, like I told you, Londinium is a massive city. They don't have enough people. They're all on their own. That serves as opportunities. Correct. Seems I haven't satisfied you with a response. Miss Allerdale, I just worry you burden's too heavy. What? There really is some way for Victoria to keep out of control of Londinium, as it is now. No, I believe they can. They truly can, if they ultimately can. What has they been doing in practice all these years they've been having you do? Allerdale's face clearly twists for an instant. Flash of emotion is immeasurably magnified in Amiya's eyes. It's no simple resentment, no weariness nor panic. It's grief. A grief so familiar it hurts. I apologize. I know I've offended you. Caesar's right. We don't need to pry. We can very well strain our progress with this complex state of affairs. But if possible, please don't stifle yourself. We've seen the consequences of that time and again. Miss Allerdale, I'm being too heavy-handed a bit, aren't I? No, Rhodes Island just keeps astonishing me. Seems I was judging you by your cover. I never did imagine you'd be this sort of leader. You must be at least a decade younger than me, but the look in your eyes is the very real thing. Not to mention, what you've seen right through me, considering you even cracked the secret of the shard ahead of Clovisia and I, and brought the Red Dragon's key with you. Honestly, if Her Highness hadn't vouched for you, I might have been even warier of Rhodes Island than the Sarkas. It's true, Londinium, no, the Sarkas have more significance still. That's why we're here. Well then, you're here. What are you fighting for exactly? Her Highness gave me a simple synopsis. You all seem to be all sorts bound up with the Sarkas. According to what I've heard, Rhodes Island has and always worked for the sake of infected. We do. The two of you must have plenty more going on in your heads right now, leader and commander of Rhodes Island. As you say, there's a great deal of people and affairs we have inseparable ties to. I'm only speaking personally, and for the Doctor too, when I say the truth of the past may be enough impetus on their own to point us to act. We've already seen so much. It's long stopped us from frivolously viewing these struggles and calamities, or placing our individual feelings above the greater problem. That's why we're here to curb a war that would devastate the land and dissipate ground zero of Victoria's woes. prevent the extinction of a race, to find the lifeline, the Biolrights, we have methods to seek. To help the infected, workers, even the Sark has been desolated. We're here to help people, Miss Allerdale. Every single person with life, every single person with the right to live. Only in the end that the majority can accept do the truths of the past have any significance. Finish her speech with evolution. I must say she's learning quite a bit from Calcit. And Allerdale's clear look of surprise on me, I can't help but seek her heart. She's spoken her most genuine, sincere mind. Of that there is no doubt. The operators that work alongside her must surely be filled with the same staunch conviction. Dr. Calcit stands evermore alone, carrying the weight of ideals. So this ideal's origin, the strong flame of conviction that drives Rhode Island to such a colossal risk, to rush headlong into political maelstrom, who lit it? And what if this answer of hers remains incapable of solving these precious issues? I do kind of like how the way this map is set up makes it look like the upper half here takes place on a higher elevation than the rest. Looks like another drone map. Lovely. Once again, gotta grab a drink real quick. Alrighty. 3 tiles are no longer available for deployment, and some seeds of withering become seeds of decay. What are withering, seeds of withering, and seeds of decay? This one's about to expire, so I'll use it. And because these enemies use elemental damage, I definitely want to bring Honeyberry.
After our mission's over, why don't we all celebrate together?
Flying, all I'm saying. Oh, don't worry, Cruz Alter and Eben are gonna handle it. They always have. If I need more, of course, I can always bring someone like Mint. 2v5, Overcast. Londinium. Hey Golding, at last you're back. Did I make it in time? Of course, you've rehearsed this play for well over a year, and this is the first time the children perform. The first time the children are performing the whole thing. We wouldn't possibly start the show without you. Did you build all altars for the quests? Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I do need to finish off Lava Altar, but she is, for better or for worse, the last one I have. Everyone else I do not have any of the altars for, unfortunately. I will admit I don't think she's very good, but at the same time, I'm probably going to E2 everyone eventually. So, yeah, once Texas Altar comes, Panda, the slight refund for building up a unit's base and altar goes away. So you want to complete all of them before the Texas Altar event, which, if the data mines are correct, it's going to be coming around early to mid-May. So you have time, but not much. So I just mostly... Lucky for me, I mostly just need to get Lava Altar to the right level. Let's find myself a good seat then. Children, are you ready? Ready. Let's begin then. Lights. Act 1, Scene 1. Ooh, I'm liking that. Good morning, sir. There's a look of concern on your face. Is there something worrying you? The Horn of Victory has blown atop the walls for 3 days and 3 nights, but why do I feel uneasy? Has our great general not returned triumphant? Praise his bravery and fearlessness. I built much in the last few days. I've been wanting to do that myself, but again, I had to put everything on hold until Stainless. Now that Stainless is finally here in Elite 2, and of course at module level, I can now start spreading my resources a bit. I've been wanting to E2 Black Knight for a while now, since she's a pretty good tactician Vanguard. Plus she was actually really helpful in one of the CCs, so I figure I should really get her working. And of course, I do want to raise Paprika since she's basically Aiba. So, even though she's not that great. Hopefully when they chain medics get their modules, she'll get an extra bonus. Like, the, say, passenger and stuff. Sadly, I did not get Hibiscus Altar when I pulled for Eben. I don't know why. But then again, I did almost miss out on Paprika because it was well over 100 pulls before I finally got a copy of her. So yeah, it wasn't just 200 pulls for Stainless. It was like 100 before I got Paprika. And then, luckily, Totter came right away. I do intend to build him, but then I saw he requires 24 rocks piles to E2. I'm thinking that so much for yeah, so much for a 4-star being cheap, right? Well, not a big deal. I can live without Hibiscus and or her altar. Bravery, fearlessness, perhaps. We did not see the light in his eyes when he returned. When he gazed upon the crown, he was like a condor wing circling a limping meat beast. You just pull the Ebon banner just for the 5-star. Hey, if you only care about the 5-star, feel free to only care about the 5-star. I'm tempted to pull for Harmony when she gets here simply because that level of smug can't be obtained from anyone else. Oh, you got Ebon Elf banner. Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that. Funny. For the record, I have been liking Ebon's Y module a bit better than his X module. I guess since his stored one for only elite enemies counts as one, he basically gets a permanent speed boost to charges. Greed can send the most kind-hearted man straight to hell, and the masses will forever believe he reaped only what he has sown. These are our terms, Miss Allerdale. We need certain goods to be transported to Londinium, and this is nothing like what we usually carry. Both the quantity and the rate are highly unusual. I shall not ask what it is you need transport and why you need them brought to the city, but you must know the risk we carry for transporting them is immense. I'm certain you know there are not many men out there who can do this for you. Sarkas keep a close eye on all ports of entry. Should they learn of this under-the-table deal, not one of us will leave Londinium alive. Even if your background and the greed of your friends watching your back is enough to keep your lifestyle as is, I'm afraid they won't help you with this affair. If you want this deal through, you must put something worth the risk on the table. Thank you for agreeing with me, Mr. Bader. I will consider a proposal. Time waits for no one. You must make your decision soon. Your asking price is quite high. Discuss the situation. The Royal Mint is in the Sarkaz hands. News of this must have already spread throughout the country via the Magna bankers. Merchant smugglers are worried that the payment they earn will be worthless by this time next month. Naturally, they demand a method of payment that will keep its value in the long term. You intend to accept his terms? Mr. Beta was right. Time waits for no one. We have at most 5 more days to prepare. If we were to ambush the Forces Command Tower, we need to bring more weapons to the city. But what they demand is very dear to you. Ah. Well, this is the position we're in, Clovisia. This is the position that I am in. How would you figure what it means to me? I'm afraid... No, I can't say this for sure. I can say this for sure. Your speculations are wrong. You'd think of me simply as the magnificent Duke Cumberland. You likely weren't even born yet, but I saw them hang Victoria's magnificent Lion King in the palace gardens with my own 2 eyes. My name is Cumberland, and everyone knows Cumberland is His Majesty's most faithful friend. You think the reason I stand here in front of you completely unharmed is because the bigwigs in Parliament had mercy on me? Even now, I still regularly attend Lieutenant Colonel Leteau's cocktail parties. My words still carry some weight there, and they still need me to soothe the masses. Of course, this is for our cause, and also my own means. I understand your sacrifice. Without your protection, the Self-Salvation Corps could not have made it this day. I'm not a girl anymore, and that thing in the attic means nothing. It is a pile of scrap. Alashay. Arrangements to have it brought down from the attic. You disagree with my decision? I dare not speak, miss. I demand it of you. Lady Allerdale, much you say, it still has Cumberland's steam armor. The blood of your ancestors, the most esteemed Duke's blood flows within that armor. It's an honor that Victoria bestowed upon House Cumberland. It's a symbol of your house, ever on high. It can be destroyed in the flames of war. It can be given to another as a noble that's unsullied. It can't be traded to a greedy merchant. You don't think Mr. Bader is worthy? An ancient set of armor, treated as a lowly collectible, traded away the bargain price. Alshia, you've been at my side all these years, ever since I was born. Kept the long-fallen House Cumberland alive. My house is built on nothing but a bunch of empty words. Glory, loyalty, nobility, perhaps benevolence. But none of them carry any meaning today. It's you and I whom these house stands now. I understand, miss. Have you gotten the letter from them today? Not yet. You know the music of the past, as if it still rings loudly in my head. The manor once hosted a king, but where is he now? My apologies, your highness. Call me Vina. Welcome, Vina. I've returned from patrolling with the fighters. You still want to go on missions with the fighters of the Self-Salvation Corps? Splendid. I want to do as much as I can. It's more than enough for my men to simply know you're here. I've heard from Clovicia. Ah, the attic is absolutely cluttered with rubbish. I've got to pull myself together and clean up a bit. Lots of dust there. I mustn't have your highness helping me with such things. Allerdale. I don't want you to sell the armor. Is that an edict from your highness? I have no right to issue one. You're the responsible for the Self-Salvation Corps, not me. You know better than I what's right for the Corps, and understand the armor could buy us an opportunity. Please give me some time. I'll find a way. Vina, you needn't worry yourself over this. Is that an order from the Self-Salvation Corps' district leader? Very well. If nothing ever happened, perhaps, never mind. It's all in the past. I kind of get where Allerdale's going for this. While titles and stuff are all important, it's ultimately the people that matter. But at the same time, well, the armor is completely priceless. It's irreplaceable. Sentimental value can certainly, it's... I'm a sucker for sentimental stuff, so I can understand why they don't want to let go of it. Even if I have to admit, Allerdale's technically the more practical option. After all, a house can be rebuilt as long as the people are still there. New knights can exist, but... well, it's not like the armor's doing for them as is. Anything for them as is. Oh, Lady Heidi! What is it? Do you have any news from Golding? Yes, she sent us a message about the transmitter in the bookstore. It's been forwarded to your terminal. Good, very good. Says she's safe. Everything at Otterig is proceeding according to plan. Please send a reply. The Doctor Squad has already slipped past the checkpoint and infiltrated Highbury, thanks to the mercenaries working with Rhodes Island. Catherine, there's a problem with the conveyor belt landing area number 9. Let's have a look. There's a loose nut here. Pato, I'm here. We're on shift today and we're running short on time. What are you doing? You want to speed things up, the sarcasm will smear your brains across the steel here. Sorry, Catherine. Hand me the spanner. Here. You're on your feet all of a sudden. Long time no see, Granny. I'm back. Pato, Catherine. Send your team leader after work for a little write-up. What? Let unauthorized personnel in the factory's most important landing zone. You're lucky you haven't been sacked. Granny, this isn't Pato's fault. It wasn't him who let me in. Good. Pato, bring Tommy and Day when you get written up. I better not see a single one of you trying to wriggle out of this. You, the strange character from God knows where next to you. I assume you mean me. Come. I kind of like how the main story and how the Dorothy's Vision event handled the Doctor. We're clearly an established character, so having some involvement's nice, but not being the main focus. But not having the main focus does work to help the characters stand out a bit more, which is good because, you know, it's the characters we're pulling for. So, why is the palace so quiet? Palace? What palace? You are facing the outer walls of the palace. Beside big heap of metal, you are blocking the sunlight. I'm facing nothing but an empty house. I'm a steam knight. I purge all evil and injustice. Young man, it is over. No, it's not, nor shall it ever be. As long as we still know what is right and what is wrong, as long as we never hesitate to make the right decision, it shall never be over. I've made my way here precisely for that reason. I invite all men to join me. Even you have yet to relax your tightly clenched fists, am I right? Just what kind of play is this? Amiya, our cover's blown. How many hostiles? Recon operators report 4 mercenary patrol teams heading our direction. We have to pass through the district to reach the Defense Forces command tower. We've only just made inside. Sarkaz's forces are too quick to react. We're being ambushed. How's the backup route looking? If the mercenaries have been lured in the front here, no, it won't work. There's another squad coming up. The Self-Salvation just spotted the Corps spotted them. What'd they say? They had runs with the squad when they evacuated Sudian. They say the Sarkaz fight well they're inhuman. Vampires, men. Notify all units. The operation's cancelled. Prepare to pull out immediately. There's no time. The vampires are moving too quick. Self-Salvation Corps has them engaged. Change of plans. We're aiding them. Where's the Cottis? What Cottis? Don't play dumb with me. She's been with you a lot the past few days. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm not talking, even if you kill me. Oh, the stubborn bunch. Ow, what's this? Bugs? Bloody? Hang in there, friend. Back in formation. Don't let the bugs on the ground separate you. Defender operators, cover our allies' retreat. Rhodes Island and the Self-Salvation Corps come here together, so we will leave together. Ami has really grown on me as a character. Her and Cruz are probably the main reasons I chose rabbits as my little gimmick team.
A smith's gotta be ready
Although,
to pay the debts
see, Seed of
accrued by
Withering.
the weapons
Self-destructs
she
when you're an
forges.
operator dealing physical damage. Yeah, no. How about no? For the record, I do have Cruz's module at max level, so I'm just a bit disappointed that her module mostly just increases her crit damage rather than crit rate. If it was crit rate, that would have been really nice, but gotta make do with what you can, I suppose. Crap, I forgot about this.
Pain. My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Honeyberry, can I hit all? Yes, I can hit all operators if I do this. Okay, good. If I can prevent any of them from getting hit by necrosis, this will really add up, I think.
No matter what
I'm really looking forward to the Vanguard modules coming. I think I mentioned, but 14 DP is an awful lot for even for a Pioneer Vanguard, especially since their goal is at least partially to generate DP. Cruise user skill, please. Zerny, go here if you please.
In my music is your honor.
The performance will begin.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Stainless.
Down to work.
Crap, that was actually really high.
No matter what
It's
trouble
more
you're
than
in,
Honeyberry.
we'll face it
Alright, let's
together
get some
with
more
all
pure
of you.
healing going here. Honeyberry is not enough. Get the siege one. Yeah, I'm gonna get both of them. Now, I can't guarantee I'll be maxing out the siege one. I might. For all her flaws, she is a genuinely good fighter, and the reason I like pioneers and tacticians over flag bearers is I like units that can actually fight.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Ayer, help him out, will ya?
Everyone.
Meanwhile, if I can get Eben his next, yeah.
Stronger than as graceful as life little.
Remember, Eben has AoE while he has his second module, so this will be really good.
About time. Hold the barricades!
Get a hold of your breathing. And
Here we are.
relax.
Shall I listen?
If I activate the skill, the necrosis won't matter.
I'll bring you.
As you can see, he actually gets a damage bonus and can hit all blocked enemies like a Centurion while his skill is active.
Way to treat you
If you
here.
master his skill 2, that's largely what goes up, and that's also something What's this? After deployment grants a target and surrounding allies a shield that absorbs damage. Oh, interesting. Why not?
Oh, is it right? Here I am. Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Alright, there we are. Crap,
I've got a way to treat you here.
Stronger than as graceful as 3/4. Faster tempo.
No matter what trouble
Here we are.
we're in, I'll face it together.
Listen or leave.
Yeah, that dot is being a pain in the ass. But it's nothing I can't handle.
I'll bring you back victory. Hold the barricades!
I've got a way to
As graceful as 3/4. Faster tempo.
There we are.
I've got a way to treat you
Ha!
here.
Easy. We have signal on me. Good. Casters, hold the shield with me. Everyone else, get to the corner. Sarka's casters raise their staves together. Monsters made of blood rush up from the underground. The entire street opens, its gaping maw beneath the soldiers. Ah, it's too many of them. Black lions cut through the flesh of the monsters, but even more rise again from the fallen, gnawing away the arts, forming a defensive barrier. Fighters run for their lives with the stench of the jaws is never far. Predator's jaws is never far behind. Finally, they make it to another alley, find themselves face to face with an aura that is potent, pure, and fearsome. Crap! It's Dio Brando. Stop. Actually, I suppose he wouldn't. He would be fitting here, since he's a vampire and all that. The bloody tide stops in its tracks. It was as though they ran to an invisible wall when they rounded the corner. The maggot-shaped arts creations smash themselves into pieces, leaving bloody trails on the ground. The empty street is completely silent. Casualties? We're fine. We got out quick enough. Hope we've delayed the Sarkaz, though. Made things safer for Aladale and Siege. Thank you, everyone, especially our Self-Salvation Corps friends. Thank you for being willing to take this risk with us. Commander Clovisia calls Rhode Island our most important ally. We're always ready for what we have to do. Plus, if Rhode Island operator here hadn't helped us, that vampire would have done us all in a long time ago. When you thank me. I've seen too much meaningless killing in Londinium. I must stop my compatriots who have gone too far. Ooh. Who's this guy? He's got a really dapper outfit. Speaking of which, I have seen Eben's new outfit in the home server, and I love it. I'm not sure why it's not live 2D, though. You'd think, given how absolutely amazing Eben's E2 artwork is, they'd want to go all out for his costume, but no matter. If I was asked to choose a costume theme for Eben, I would have chosen Bloodline of Combat, so works for me. Sorry, Doctor. Are we not welcome? I had a little fight with Granny when I skipped out of the factory last year. Dozen big, bruising workers surround you. Their eyes are filled with suspicion. You glance at the drills and spanners, then at Feist, dressed like the workers, but here on his own. Seems like it was a little more than just a little fight. I guess Granny's still sore at me. I got no reason to be sore at a dead man. I didn't even know why my only grandson was still alive, till a minute ago. I wanted to send a message, it was too risky. Sarkaz monitor all communications. I can't let the Sarkaz tie you into self-salvation. So you joined the band of crackpots. The Self-Salvation Corps. We do a lot in Sudi and Granny. Sarkaz control the media, and they call us an unarmed violent gang. They're the ones who blew up the wall. That was the... Sarkaz damaged the wall. Walls while pursuing the core. Right, it was mostly the Sarkaz that did it anyway. So you're here to blow up the armory? Of course not. What'd you say to your friends? Or making weapons of the Sarkaz to use against Victorians? No, what I told them was my granny stands up to protect their livelihoods. I know you think I'm a brat with little more than a couple silly tricks, but I didn't come back to drag the workers in this, and I'm not here to try and convince you either. I have my goals, of course, and it'd be brilliant if you're able to help me, but first, I just wanted to see that you're safe. Come here, let me have a look at you. Annie, put on a few inches, brat. Yeah, I grew a little. I'll have the goods soon. A suit of steam armor. How many men would it kill to get one like it? The nobles of Lothian love to flaunt such storied antiques. Oh, and do be sure to ask those Colombian firms as well. They might be interested, even if the tech is centuries old. Getting out will be no trouble at all. What business do you think I'm running in Londinium these days? Sarkas are a gang of raving psychopaths. They alone couldn't rule Londinium. I have friends in the defense forces. They'll take care of it for me. I've heard it has a few external blemishes, however. I do hope it won't hurt the price. Why not cancel the deal if you're so worried about the price? Who's there? Don't worry, we just happen to be traveling around the same way. Get this intro out of here. Say, where are my bodyguards? I asked them to take a short nap. You can go and wake them up once we finish our little chat. All of them? Against just one of you? One whom I know. Look behind you. This is Londinium. I got friends in high places. Oh, where are they? Do tell. I bet I'd get along famously. Don't do anything rash now. Play nice with us and no one has to get beat. Whatever Siege says, you do. Otherwise, my claws won't be aimed at a wall next time. Alright, I understand. Seriously? Really got into it there. I learned it from you lot. Now then, let him go. Now, you can open your eyes and put your hands down now, Mr. Bader. We're not gonna hurt you, at least not yet. But is he a master at his craft? My terms are clear. Cancel the deal for the Cumberland steam armor. Can you let me go if I agree? Yes. But I'll make sure you keep your side of the bargain. Show Mr. Bader our map, Morgan. Pleasure. Marks on the map. Those are my warehouses. How'd you know about those? You don't pay much attention when you're out and about. You shadowed me? Correct. The Sarkas cannot be bribed. If they learn you smuggled so much contraband to Londinium through your connections, how helpful do you think a friend will be? Will he be in any position to protect you? You're considering tipping off the Sarkas. That might well get us all killed, but they won't have to know anything if you continue to work with us. I have a choice. I understand your circumstance, and I appreciate your opportunity to work with you. You'll be compensated fairly. Wait a second. What's your relationship with Cumberland? Are you her attendant? I can't imagine Cumberland's in any position to hire one. Oh, watch your mouth. Cumberland serves Vina, not the other way around. She's the daughter of a duke. You don't mean... Nah, I'm nobody. Lady Cumberland and I are comrades, along with thousands upon thousands of Londinians belonging to peace. I do hope you're one of them, Mr. Bader. Act 4, Scene 3. All those loyal to this land stand with me. The final battle against evil lies before us. Children, do you live here? Hide not in the corner of shadows, even if you cannot hold a sword. There's more to being a warrior than simply holding a sword. Open your eyes, watch, listen, think. Think, feel. Tell me what right, what is wrong, what kind of life you wish to live. I march onwards with you as my witnesses. Brilliant, look how good Ralph is, Lady Golding. Look how much he's grown. To think he was a mischievous little beastling 4 years ago. Yes, I'm delighted. A handkerchief, Molly. Handkerchief. Oh yes, I can't stand my clothes with tears in front of the children. Oh, but I can't stop crying. I think Ralph and the kids will be leaving school so soon. It's time for them to have a rest, and us too. Yes, the final scene, the best part. Who's clapping? Didn't invite anyone to the rehearsal today, did you? Teachers cast their glances towards the back of the classroom. Man in military attire slowly up by the door. What a splendid performance. Lieutenant Colonel Leteau. I didn't think the commander of the defense forces would grace this classroom with his presence. Good afternoon, ladies.
No matter the sins, all will fall to ashes with the lives at the end of time.
Yeah, this is going to be a really nice injection of materials to my resources. I think pushing myself a bit here was a good idea. Now, this looks like a good map just for a good old-fashioned... You know what? Let's not bring Silver Ash. Let us bring Lu Zohei. And I'll bring his Broken Blade here. I've been actually liking Zohei here quite a bit. I've been using his skill 1 mostly for IS-2. I'm trying to finish off the last few deep investigations there. If they're too frustrating, I won't bother, though. I am not a big fan of the mode, which is a shame because IS3 is coming, and that would make it it's a lot more fun. That would be a lot more fun for me if I did like it. I keep tripping over my own words here. But his skill 2 is good for damage, so we're gonna go with that. Well, I'll go ahead and mention to someone, it's funny, my regular team here doesn't really use any meta ones aside from Bagpipe, but I guess one could argue that Saga is, since plus Neon is technically the best protector, or protector, defender, and Ebon's the best Mystic caster, so I guess one could argue it's technically still meta, since I'm using the strongest in their respective subclasses. I try not to panic too much about trying to get a theme, team, or niche going. I mean, I did Rabbits just because I thought that was cool, but I don't know, I spent a lot of time trying to work out something, only for it to... Well, first of all, I'm not that great at the game, hence why I use a real team for... quote-unquote real team. Standard team for the hard stuff. What are you doing here? I said as much. I'm here to enjoy the performance. Actually, I think some content creators have even started posting up some videos about why you shouldn't force yourself. Would have been a bit nice if I had gotten that before I realized I was stressing too much over Niche Knights, but it's whatever. I'm just gonna let the teams come to me, and for now it's just the rabbits. If another one comes to mind, then yeah, I'll worry about that when it actually happens. Stay behind me, children. No offense, Lieutenant Colonel, but you're not welcome here. Don't you be just so distant, Golding. I've always approved of your efforts. The more difficult the times, the more important education becomes. You're speaking as though you have nothing to do with these difficult times. You're always finely dressed, aren't you? No matter the times. The only difference is, you have more and more medals on your collar now. Helping the military commission govern Londinium is not an easy job. I've encountered my share of difficulties. My love for the city has never changed. I'm like you in that regard. Well, if he has too many medals, it might become too heavy and make him fall over. Or he could get struck by lightning, or whatever cartoonish thing results from those military guys who have too many medals. I'm sure Tom the Cobbler agrees. Tom's a friend too. The memory of that incident pains me. He got drunk and babbled something about His Majesty and the team knights, and he could hardly even spell sarcasm. He's still alive. Life is more about more than simply being alive. Are you accusing me of betraying Victoria Golding? I respect your courage, ladies, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. I came here, taking a look at the school, nothing more. It's unfortunate you seem to have forgotten me, Miss Molly. Forgotten? I spent just as much time here as you have. I even remember the children who came in here with you. Unfortunately, I was no longer so free after my graduation from the military academy. Golding, you trusted me once. We discussed the history of Gaul, the eternal pillars of literature. That will do, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm grateful to your father for sponsoring the school over the years. He made the efforts to light the torch of wisdom and drive out the ignorance and chaos. I once thought you like him, but you've extinguished that tiny spark with your own two hands. Is that so, Golding? Why do you think the school survived this long? Don't you dare threaten us. I've no reason to threaten you, certainly not with the children around. We're all the remnants of Gaul, Miss Golding. We know the merciless devastation of war, the snuffing out of countless lives, the destruction of human progress towards wisdom. I don't want Londinium to be the next Lingones, nor do I want to see the wonderful play that I just witnessed disappear forever. This is the burden I've chosen to bear. I cannot endorse your views. The Royal Opera House of Lingones has long since been reduced to ash, but Ode al Triomphe and continues to be performed around the world. Buildings fall and metal giants rust, but what we created with never dies. It's our knowledge, our culture, our hope. The darker the clouds of war, the more important it is we hold on to our beliefs, trust in beauty, and remind ourselves what separates us from the animals. You believe you can win a conflict like this? What you represent, fear, power, violence, those things can't keep everyone suppressed forever. I must believe. I can only believe. As long as there is light, we shall follow it. I envy you then, Miss Golding. Look at the dark clouds above you. A storm is coming. There's still time before the thunderbolt falls. We have a choice. I hope to see the conclusion of this play one day. I get this interesting. The implication seems to be that he joined with them out of a lust for power, but it could also be that he simply is scared and sees no other way to survive. Just that he sees that this is the way the winds are blowing, and, well, you either go with them or get blown away. Or at least that's what he might be thinking. Or perhaps I'm giving him a bit too much credit. I guess we'll be finding out soon enough. Commander of the Defense Forces do not linger on the streets after leaving the school. He came alone. There are none of his men in the vicinity. She must find Adams to get the news out. No matter how amicable the commander looked, there must be a reason why he came to that school. Molly does not know, and nor do the children, but Golding does. Why are there so many Sarkas? The path to the bookstore is a familiar one. She's tread it countless times the past 2 years, but today, the path is much longer than she remembers. She cannot see the end of it. She remembers the day the Sarkas came. Can she truly change? Must believe. I must. Fear seizes Golding by the throat. She feels as though she's about to throw up. She turns and flees. Unfortunately, if there's no way to make it... Lance, Patty, kids, not... You need not have bothered yourself with a task as simple as this, sir. Then you should have arrested Miss Golding, Leto. It is what Manfred would have done. One Red Eye wouldn't have left a soul in the school alive. Old Red Eye wouldn't have left a soul in the school alive. You know you're not Sarkaz. You want to save one final shred of dignity for yourself, the defense forces, for the people of the city. We believe this is safer. Why, you... Lance, Patty, I hope the children are safe. I'm scared, Lieutenant Kern. Scared the people like you in the Sarkaz may hurt the children. Children may grow up to be like you. You sound like our unconscious guest here. Yes, we're feeling... She cares about those young Victorians more than she cares about herself. We can feel it, but we find it difficult to understand, especially since it does not arise the ties of blood. Yeah, this exact character, their ability is to shapeshift. And it's apparently enough that even... it can fool pretty much anyone, including people using other ways to detect people. That's pretty dangerous. Granted, I don't know exactly how it works, so it's possible certain methods of detecting might be able to tell it's a fake, like Amiya's empathy powers might be able to read, but it's hard to say. And the reason I say empathy is because you can easily fool your conscious mind, but it's harder to do so for your subconscious. After all, your subconscious is effectively what decides what you're going to do before you actually do it. So but I suppose it is technically possible. It's just significantly harder. But it's for that precise reason I consider the ability to read emotions and stuff like Amiya does to be technically stronger than direct mind reading, because, again, it's easier to hide what your conscious mind is thinking. As for feelings, she cares, especially since it does not arise from ties of blood. Sir? I find her interesting. Through you, we understand ourselves, understand the Sarkaz better. You want answers about what? You're not seem the kind of person to be curious about the Sarkaz, Licto. My apologies, sir. The mission always comes first. Take Miss Molly back and watch her closely. We'll stay by Miss Golding's side and gather intelligence for the coming war. Oh, yes, sir. What's the matter, sir? Someone has discovered us. Should I call them in? No need. They cannot stop him. He has learned much from Therese. We will have an interesting conversation. Hmm. Molly? Did anything happen while I was away? No, Lance and Patty were scared. Ralph and the other kids took the little ones to get some rest. Good, I've been thinking. The children will enjoy the play, won't they? Hard work will mean something? Oh, what are you talking about? Nothing. Don't mind the commander of the defense force, Miss Golding. Not feeling well, I need rest. Sorry, could you please clean up? Oh, certainly. There should be an end to this play. The Steam Knights have arrived at the palace. The children will perform the final scene in a few days, won't they? Absolutely. There are lots of possibilities, as long as the conclusion story has not yet been told, but even a play that's been performed can be changed. People always look for the latest. Been watching for a long time, haven't you? The stage is right there. Why don't we start from the beginning, from Act 1? Everyone dreams about how things would have been if none of this had happened. What ifs mean nothing? What if there's even a remote possibility? Why don't you join us on stage, sir? Good morning, sir. There's a look of concern on your face. Is there something worrying you? The horn of victory has been blown atop the walls for 3 days and nights, but why do I feel uneasy? Has our great general not yet returned triumphant? Praise his bravery and fearlessness. Bravery? Fearlessness? Perhaps. A call to arms united our spirit. The price was ruin and hate. You should have served a king, but you gave your loyalty to a thief. The mysterious spectator takes a step forward, his gaze moving from his counterpart to the distance. He's not building up tension, but recalling memories of another battlefield, memories that have lain dormant for too long. It is not a king that I serve, but honesty and courage. Destruction awaits if you stay on this path. The destruction of an individual is nothing compared to having to watch a tyrant bring this country to ruin. How do you know her end, sir? I can predict her end, as I know her beginning. How could you reminisce about the past, young as you are? Who can keep the sun from setting? Such desire is the greatest greed. I have seen countless acts of madness performed in the name of preserving this glory. They turn to banditry, or fight amongst themselves, ultimately accelerating the decay of this country. Molly turns around on stage, takes a few steps back, hiding her face in the shadows. But her counterpart speaks first. His expression is calm, like water undisturbed. He shifts his hands and crosses them. They will not admit that those who fall try to cling to the sunlight, but grasp only lightning. Must they accept their fall? They can choose not look back at the peak. If they would turn their gaze around, they would realize it is no abyss lying before them, but fertile earth in which infinite possibilities lie. You say the abyss... Dang, that's a pretty boy face, isn't it? Not what I was expecting. And yet, suppose I can't disapprove? You say the abyss can be conquered. You know not the truth of our abyss, nor do you understand that time is short. The abyss lies before us. We can fill it with flesh, burn the remnants with blood, leaving behind wide open the fields for those who come after. Only when the ashes of old are blown away can a new crop grow on the field to feed the next generation. Oh, I forgot we have a... Oh yeah, we have a mission, don't we? Culture unfold.
Remember, everyone, not one fewer when we come back.
Auf eure Plätze!
Note to self. Get a medic out of here.
Everyone, focus on fighting. Just leave treatment to me. Everyone, hang in
Cruz, I
there.
need you to take care of these guys.
Make any more noise.
Yeah, she can handle the drones. I'm not worried about them.
Down to work!
Everyone, hang in there. Oh, is it right? Bye! I've got a way to treat you here.
Yeah, that's a lot of enemies. Oh dear.
Everyone, hang in there.
Flourish or perish.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
To
Zerny will be
tremble
here
in my
then.
music is your honor.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Careful of music on the
Oh yeah, she can hit Eben from there, so I'm not
especially
worried.
when you face a like
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Oh wow, that was a lot. Alright, Cruz Altar is going to be coming back up soon, so I'm not too worried there, but...
Shall I close? Listen or leave.
A lot of enemies here.
Everyone, hang in there.
Let's begin.
Increase everyone's defenses.
Ever echoes in our souls.
Drill through darkness!
Everyone, hang in there.
Oh boy, that was a bit... Alright, the good news is... Yeah, stabby
You
McStab
can
stab.
hardly call this ending good. Are you the one who just got a headache? Not me?
I could rotate out Luzo A, but I probably just need to add an extra defender or something in front, because it seems the sheer number of enemies are the main threat here. And I forgot I still need to get Nian's module. Her first one is probably better since I use for what I'm using her for, since I use her as my resident hard tank. I'm not going to remove Stainless. He actually has some surprisingly good bulk. I could also try using Air Scarp for more since he's a bit... guess we'll figure it out. I mean, I have no reason not to keep trying. As long as the chapter release is up, it's effectively free to do all story chapters.
Ever inevitable.
Hello, everyone over there! You can breathe easy. What's the line? I'm just your average mechanic.
Everyone, focus on fighting. Just leave treatment to everyone. Hang in there.
We need more British.
Warrior must be ready to... Here I am!
Finish or perish.
I've got a way to treat you here.
My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
There we are.
Everyone, hang in there.
I think this should be fine.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Alright, Eben should be able to help do a lot of good damage here then.
Hold of your breathing and relax.
I am at your command. I am at your command.
May the war grant us the redemption we seek. Or will it?
To tremble in my music.
Get a hold of your...
Stand still.
Oh dang, that was a lot. Oh well, we still managed to get rid of all
My
those
rule is
enemies,
to balance
so...
your lives hanging.
Everyone, hang in there.
Shall I all listen or leave?
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Might as well do this
No
one
matter
here.
what trouble we're in.
Hinfort aus meinem
Drill through darkness!
faster tempo.
There we are, that's a good AoE.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Okay, that worked well. Wow, that's actually a big bunch of AoEs stacked up. Alright, it's fine if we lose Siege. But we will need to get up here, so
Let's just
Neon, get
this
all
done
there.
with.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
And Neon's a really strong hard tank, so I think we're in good hands there.
I've got a way to...
Hinfort aus meinem Kopf.
A knife, even
Alright,
virtuous
bring her to
king
block
must
4,
from time to
and
time
this should
lift
be a
his
biddies
sword.
here.
Shut up or else!
Taunt, active.
Don't make any more noise. Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Oh wow. I clearly need more kill power.
Victory and loss are insignificant moments in an endless cycle.
Technically, I could swap Neon to skill 3, actually. Because if I do that, that means Zerny,
Guess one thing's never gonna
Stainless,
change with
and...
time.
Yeah, Zerny and
Swords
Stainless will
will
become
inevitably
block...
clash.
Zerny will become block 4, and Stainless will be block 3, which should do a lot to help, I think. Although, for better or for worse, I do think I need to I could use air. How much stronger is air scarp than percent? Hmm. Actually, stainless. Let's go with your skill 1.
Squad 11 of Self-Salvation Corps, joining up with Rose Island.
Yeah, skill 1 should be good because that's just straight up more attack power, and that's really what we're in need of right now. And skill 3 is S3 because that's what I've been using to make people survive Auk. I could bring Auk here, but if this fails, I'll swap out and bring Mint. Because
War.
Mint could hit absolutely
Ever
all
never
enemies at once.
May the war grant us the redemption we seek. Or will.
Everyone, focus on fighting. Just leave treatment to no matter what trouble we're in. I'll face it together with all of you.
Picked a good...
Get lost.
Flourish?
Everyone, hang in there.
Block 3.
Extraordinary.
Get lost.
Hold the barricades!
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with
Yeah,
all
that's a
of
ton
you.
of enemies, wow.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Everyone, hang in there.
I'll bring you back victory.
Alright, so I have to remember all of his devices are destroyed after when he activates it, but that's fine.
Yes?
Everyone, hang in there.
Yes? Let's just get this done with.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Alright, here we're coming to a lot more enemies, so let's do it this way.
Faster, as graceful as Dreiviertel.
Everyone, hang in there.
Oh, you dare strike my shield with your spear? That's gonna...
Silence, sofort.
About to drill through darkness!
Here we go.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Yeah, we do need a lot more damage here, but... If I put Bagpipe here, she should be able to eat most of those. Yeah, there we are.
Relax.
Let's begin.
Doesn't quite reach over there, but I guess I can worry about it.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Faster, as graceful as Dreiviertel.
On alert!
Faster tempo.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Go ahead. I'm going to know where you're going.
Yes, her life is mine to protect.
Shall I listen or leave?
Not enough. Yeah, looks like we're gonna need Mint for this. As a Phalanx caster, she should have the bulk to survive those things focusing her down anyways.
I apologize.
Probably want this because I need to make sure her skill is up as often as humanly possible.
Squad 11 of Self-Salvation
Plus he'll get a
Corps,
Centurion
joining up
effect,
with
which is always
Rose
good,
Island.
right? Alright, so the more her skill is up, the better. I do look forward to Mint's module. It's not amazing or anything, but it does help her out.
We're heading out. Remember, mind your cover.
Run while you can. Better to be a coward with a pulse than a martyr with a grave.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
What a pain. Get lost.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Alright, get the healers out immediately.
Drift of time.
Alright, here we are. Heard rumors that DLC is early. Cool to know.
No matter what
Hopefully.
trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Get lost.
I've got a way to treat you.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Here we are. Okay, yeah, she managed to clear that up rather well.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
To tremble in my music is your honor.
Everyone, hang in there.
My rule is to balance your lives hanging. Are you ready?
When 'tis a choice of life and death, why?
Everyone, hang in there. Shh. Don't make any more noise.
Yeah, these guys I'm not too worried about. Yeah, see, her bulk is high enough, she doesn't have to worry about it.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Shall I close? Shall I shut up or else?
Alright, let's see if this is enough.
Everyone, hang in there. Everyone, hang in there.
I definitely want to help give this speed to Mint here.
Everyone,
Bagpipe, take
hang
some of
in
these, would you please? Thank you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Alright, now Mint, do your thing again, if you please.
there. I've got a way to treat you here.
What a pain. My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
A knife? My body.
Silence, support!
Everyone, hang in there.
We'll break up!
Agony, ever etched on our hearts.
On alert.
Alright, we might be able to get a bit more now that we have, yeah, block 3. And he's got Centurion effects,
No
don't
matter
forget.
what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Now, you're a little late, Zerny. The good news is we've won, but the bad news is it's not flawless, and we need a flawless victory. We almost did it.
Orderly retreat. Don't panic.
Sad indeed. I suppose it would be my best interest to use Silver Ash in this particular situation.
We all have our roles to play. Use my abilities as best you see fit.
I have to be careful, though. I have to use him only at the end. I hate to resort to a nuclear option like that,
Compassion
but
saves no one on
that's
the
how
battlefield.
that's how it'd be sometimes.
while you can. Better to be a coward with a pulse than a martyr with a grave.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Might as well get rid of these so it won't be an issue going forward.
Down to work.
I've got a way to treat you here.
There we are.
Oh, is it my turn? Here I am.
Is but a flash in the drift of time.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Very well.
Cruz Altar is doing pretty
No
good
matter
work.
what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Hello, everyone over there. You can breathe easy. What's the line? I'm just your average mechanic.
Oh crap.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Yes?
Let's just get this done with.
Shall I silence sofort?
Get a hold of your breathing.
I can't use Silver Ash's skill here. It needs to be for the next big wave. I can, however, use Stainless's skill, since he now has a Centurion effect.
Everyone, hang in there.
Bagpipe, please take the hits there. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten, Bagpipe.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Yes, I'm listening. Grief ever echoes in our souls.
Oh, my body burns at over 1,400 degrees.
Shall I all shut up or else?
I've got a way to treat you here.
What are you planning? Fool! For what reason hast thou come?
Yeah, Silver Ash is making this significantly more manageable.
Everyone, hang in there. Go ahead. I'm all bye.
And there we go.
Get a hold of
If all
your
else fails, just pile on even more AoE.
mission accomplished.
I probably should have brought Auk instead of Stainless for that, but
They
well,
smell
screw it. I want
fine,
to use
ain't even
Stainless.
close
I
to
just got
filling
him.
my
Of course I
hunger.
want to use him where possible. Tutorial. Is the unknown nurtures fear. Wigs that crave. My, what's this? Ooh, Click and Skyfire. Interesting. Ah, twigs. What are these?
We'll take them out all at once. My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
Harmful effects detected. Initializing treatment program. Scanning complete. The twigs that crave have polluted the nearby ground, causing continuous damage to nearby operators. Operators fighting on the ground will take more damage. I'll take care of it. Caution, target structures complex and attacking may have unpredictable results. Ray throats him.
Get lost.
It's attacking. It is some sort of Sarka's arts, and necrosis damage it inflicts prevents the use of skills when it accumulates, while also causing continuous arts damage. Let's finish this quickly then.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Alright, so damaging it will cause necrosis, reflecting out. Rot Eater. The more enemies defeated, the higher its HP, attack, and defense. Oh, crap. Damn it, it's those knights from Casimiras. They get stronger the more things die. Most are probably more familiar with it as the, one from IS-2. Lose corrosion causes nearby units to continuously lose HP. Alright, so they continue to have the tree's aura. It turned a monster, but looks pretty weak. Analysis shows that it absorbs the strength of fallen allies. The more of its allies fall in battle, the more power it absorbs, increasing its strength. It will be at its strongest if all of its allies are defeated. Support squad has arrived. Please instruct us whether to prioritize its destruction or reinforce defenses. Click, take care of that, will ya?
Initiation complete.
A warrior must be ready to face death.
I need to kill this thing sooner rather than later.
Get lost.
Mission accomplished.
There you go. I like to think I did that the smart way. Oh boy, more twigs that crave. Actually, is there a good, yes there is, actually. Yeah, there's a good spot for her there. But if I'm doing that, I may want to bring Ak. It's nice that this is not like FGO where you absolutely need a support to defeat things in a reasonable amount of time, but it's also nice that the supports are strong enough that they can be quite
It's
helpful.
time. We should be departing any moment now.
On alert!
Arrived at
Oops, she
designated
can't hit
position.
cruise now, can she?
Treatment target sighted.
Rot Chaser. Fast movement attacks cause the target to take arts damage. Effect remove when the target's healed.
Go ahead. Bye!
Siege will have to put you in front of the blue box.
Chooses its way.
Not the most ideal location to put you, but we don't really have much choice at the moment.
Extraordinary.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you. Do I have to jump down? I've got a real penchant for that. Do I have to jump down? Everyone, hang in there.
Alright, here we are. That should make things a little easier.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Go ahead.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
to work.
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Here, another tree has grown.
Everyone, hang in there.
Gonna need to get some more healing here.
Shall I open? Listen or leave?
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Gonna have to have crews take those out.
When 'tis a choice of life
Having Neon
and
block
death,
here should be fine.
why shouldst thou lay down thy arms?
Shall I open? Listen or leave?
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Oh, is it my turn? Here I am. Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Picked a good place for me.
Alright, that was a lot more damage than I should have taken, so...
No matter what trouble we're in, I'll face it together with all of you.
Her life is mine to protect.
Oh, you dare strike my shield with your spear? That's gonna end with you in pieces.
I've got a way to treat you here.
It's helping, but...
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
Go ahead. I'm all
Alright, she's not
ready
doing
and
much
set.
here, so... Let's do
Very
it this
well.
way. Silver Ash can help, but... Oh, he's taking damage from the AoE aura. Whoops.
Get a hold of your breathing and relax.
The fool flaunting his gallantry reaches none with his vanity.
I've got a way to treat you here.
Alright, we've almost taken them all out. We've almost won.
Mission accomplished.
I may have to... if they're doing so much damage that even Shining has trouble keeping up, that's a big deal. Shining is my strongest single-target medic. No, I don't have Lumen at E2, and I'm not really interested in using resources to raise him when he's only going to be a slight upgrade from Shining. Yeah. Shining's hard raw healing is perfectly sufficient for any time I need raw healing. If anything more is beyond that, that usually means I need a better strategy, not Lumen. Not that I have anything against Lumen, it's just I built Shining back when she was relevant, and I don't really want to spend so many resources on an upgrade that's only going to be a slight increase in efficiency. Oh, Morgan, the guards of the warehouse were so nervous they didn't even see me coming. Alright, you win today. Take your jerky. Ah, you knew you'd be cross. Next time you can come with. Loser has to keep guard. They're staring at us. Who? What are you What's this about? Get out of the way already. I need a drink from the kitchen. Thirsty after all that work. Who indeed? Shouldn't have done that. You were raised Sarkaz Patrol, giving your people a chance to escape the warehouse. Yes. One way to say thank you. Did I hear you wrong? Our comrades in studio are grateful, and so are we. The mission went well. Why did you have to burn the warehouse? Belonged to a Victorian merchant, not the Sarkaz. The Sarkaz were just the ones occupying it. Ah, those fat cats are as cowardly as they were greedy. They want to help the sarcasm, I'm happy to let them suffer for it. You understand you're just driving them into the arms of the sarcasm, right? Even better, more ways to burn those traitors. That's gangster talk, not the way of the Self-Salvation Corps. You still insist on working with these people, Lady Isabel? Name's Dagda here. It's just, when Lady Outerdale introduced you and Her Highness to us, we thought, Siege told you on day one there was the Glasgow Gain working, not Her Highness Alexandra on the night of the tower. Do we want to see a hoodlum lead us, even take the throne? Why Shiver Brand gives a right to say that about Vena? So at Backend's place, Morgan, we're on the ground. Many of us rather follow you in Cumberland. Stop it, I mean, you said your piece. As long as we're still together, you should not speak ill of fellows. Sorry, I spoke out of turn. You shouldn't have stopped me. And let you make a mess for Vena to clean up, not to mention the bunny and the doctor in Rhode Island. Next time, think about your company before you lose your head. Ah, never thought the day would come you'd be one talking to me about losing my head. Gotta change and adapt to the environment. Look how Dog is doing. Don't say that, it feels weird. I think I want to congratulate you. Living your way doesn't feel too nice. There's always one thing the past couple days have taught me, Morgan. We have to adapt to keep up with Vena. Here, your jerky. Neither of us won the day. Keep it. I've got no appetite. I've been thinking, Hannah. Is this the kind of life Vena wants? Since wedded nobles and merchants give her the life she deserves. Not thinking from the right angle. They'll realize Vena's a good leader, and the respect Vena gets, would have earned herself. I certainly hope that is the case, but I'm not sure if that's actually... I guess we can worry about that. Anyways. Lady Allerdale, finally. Sorry I've been busy. Heard you were looking for a buyer for the steam armor. The news reached you quickly. Only rumors, only rumors. A friend mentioned the suit of steam armor from Londinium may appear on the market, but the transaction fell through at the last minute. I see. I would not recommend that you sell something so valuable so easily. It's hard to get a good price under current market conditions. Thanks for the advice. I'm just trying to do something useful with what little assets my family has left. I understand. What little money we have left means nothing to the Sarkas. Has the banquet not yet started? There's no need to wait on me. Oh, we can't have that now. You've been the pillar of the central Londinium for ages. It's all thanks to you we're alive today. How's one supposed to negotiate with a bunch of lunatics who don't care about money? Plant me, sir. I'm just a nobody who spoke up a few times about unjust treatment, about like those like you received. No, don't say that. House Cumberland is undoubtedly rise again under your leadership. Yes, the past now. When Londinium knows peace again, not to say it's not at peace right now, of course. In any case, House Cumberland will have our gratitude. Lieutenant Colonel Leto is here. We salute you. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick, actually. Been a bit. Alright, that... Alright, that feels a lot better. Alright, next up. It's an honor, Lieutenant Colonel. You've not graced us with your presence for many nights. We're most grateful for your efforts to keep the peace. I've come by a few bottles of excellent wine. They may not have been so impressive in the old days, but in times like these, they are a rarity. I'll have my butler bring them to your residence. Ladies and gentlemen, there'll be no more banquets from this day forth. Military Commission will be interviewing you soon. Good luck. What? Wait, no, what do you mean? Lieutenant Colonel? Lieutenant Colonel? Lady Allerdale, you must speak with him. This is serious. People will die. Please, Lieutenant Colonel, don't go. Yes, this is... Sark has been biding their time. They'll let these fools wallow in luxury in order to keep the dukes from coming together. There's nothing any given duke would like more than to become master of Victoria. At the center of Victorian high society's Londinium, and whomever makes an enemy of Londinium nobility makes an enemy of the entire state. Such an offense would have forced the dukes to put aside their individual interests and join forces with the march. The Sarkas don't care anymore. They've achieved their goal. Some think what befell Londinium in the past few years was a disaster, but now, war has truly come. What about us, then? Could you talk to Lieutenant Colonel, as the note suggested. You might... They called me a pillar, but whom amongst them set foot in Cumberland Manor before the Sarkas took control? Which of the Duke's true friends participated in these pretentious banquets? Simply a figurehead for nobles who lack chips on their side, or for those who are trying to protect themselves. They flock to the Cumberland banner, so Cumberland may take the fall for them. So what you mean is, let's go, Alchier. Inform the Self-Salvation Corps and Rhode Islander friends to evacuate the manor immediately. It is no longer safe. We'll take one last look at our ancestral home. Allerdale, you are? A letter from the Duke. Oh hey, we actually get to see Paprika here. A few days in Otterogden Highbury. Look at all these factories and houses packed tight together. Never seen a place so cramped. Go back to central London after this mission, Captain. Do what? I don't know what Manfred's thinking, hiring kids like you who've barely taken a life before. I'm not a kid. I did a lot of jobs back in Columbia with Grimm, when he was still around. Grimm, I've, I have to babysit now because he got himself killed in Sweden. I should have taken his head and nabbed the bounty beforehand. Weren't you friends? It's not my job to teach you how to be a mercenary, kid, but it is yours to read the map. Where do we go next? Munitions Factory number 11 is just ahead. General Manfred gave us a pretty long list. Are these all older workers that knew something, right? Just take them somewhere with no witnesses and kill them. I would kill everyone in the factory if it were up to me. All that crap about killing one of the ones that know anything. Does he have any idea how much trouble that is? Well, he is the boss. Whatever, put away the list and let's go. Don't worry, Aiba, we'll save you. Feist, Pato, it's been a year, I missed you. Sorry, I should have tried to send word. Never mind that, I'm so glad to see you. For the past years, I've been telling everyone you'll definitely come back alive. Remember the vent over there? There's a bit of platform outside the other end of it. A few years ago, you said you'd jump off into the factory next door. We were scared out of our minds. It was, what, 30 meters off the ground? Falling, you'd be dead for sure. But you dared to jump, and then Tommy jumped, Day jumped in the end, I did too. Whatever they ask me, if they think you're dead, I tell them look at the vent. Ha, we weren't afraid of anything, were we? So, those are your Self-Salvation Corps friends? Hello? Looks well read to me. I heard all kinds, guess the rumors are true. The doctor is definitely well read. I'm partnered with the Corps. You have partners, then. It's sounding more and more like the real deal, isn't it? Haha. So why'd you come back? Anything I can help with? Otto. Catherine, I'm sorry. Get back to work. Yes, ma'am. But Feist isn't back, isn't he? He's not going anywhere? Oh, don't you worry about him right now as your friend. We should talk somewhere else. Don't blame Catherine Feist. She's been protecting us in the Sarkas the past year. It's thanks to her we haven't lost anyone. There was a time when things got really bad. She called the leader of the defense force to mediate. The Sarkas have been putting more and more pressure on Catherine. I know, Pato. I don't blame Granny one bit. When I joined the Corps, I truly understood what I was facing. I knew what a difficult decision Granny had to make. Alright, talk. What'd you come back for? We're looking for something. Something? Yes, a hidden Sarkas supply line fueling the Mad War. We're certain the line ends here in the Industrial District. We need to find it. Vice says no one knows the district better. No one knows better than you, Granny. I'm sure you can help. So I came to you. Flattering me won't do you any good. We just need a clue. We won't cause any trouble for the factory. Why did you think I'd help you? Maybe I already told Pato to call the Sarkas mercenaries. If that's the case, I'll have to flee with the others. Tell me, how many died in that incident you caused in Sweden? Do you remember their names, their faces? Do you remember what they looked like when they died, their last words? Don't rush your answer, Face, and don't try to bluff your way through it. I don't know what this doctor of yours thinks, but I know you. You think you're smart, but being smart isn't enough to fool death. Catherine, a bunch of Sarkas are at the door. Doctor, get out of here. They say Lieutenant Colonel Leto, a defense force, wants to see you. You're being escorted. George, watch these two, make sure they stay put. Care for a smoke? Don't bother trying to butter me up. Lieutenant Colonel Leto wants to see me? Yes. We've been meeting our targets. Nothing for him to worry about. Whatever he wants, come to see you. Come with us. Alright, give me a minute. I'm just gonna take care of us. We're not asking, old bag. I have to put someone in charge. This is very sudden, after all. We can wait a little, can't we? I don't think the general wants a scene. You have 10 minutes. Good enough. Oh, is she an agent we have in there? That'd be cool. Bit underhanded, but at this point, I can't really blame the doctor for resorting to such methods. Granny, why looking for you? None of your business. What? Shut up and come with me. I guess this made her decision as to whether to...
It's finally over. You
Whether they can
all
trust her
worked
is not
so
easy.
hard.
Oh dear. If it's red, that means it's going to be a harder one. 48 too, huh? Oh, we got a new reward. Sure, why not? When do I get Dagda? Probably at 11:15, I guess. I distinctly remember I got Heidi near the end of chapter 10. 11:15. Okay, thanks, Panda. I'm not sure I'm gonna raise Dagda, but it's worth having her at the very least. I imagine these chip catalysts are meant to specifically be used to raise her. I'll think about it, but Brawler... If I raise another Brawler, it might be Indra. Well, I'll look at what Dagda has, I guess. And this is the new salt material. For those wondering why we couldn't get Texas Altar before Chapter 11, this is why. Pretty much all the units on that banner use this material, but Chapter 11 has to exist in order for it to exist, so... a bit limiting there. How long have I been going for? About 3.5 hours? I think now might be a good time to call it, then. So, let's see here. Is anyone I usually raid here? Doesn't look like anyone's on. We lose 2 dead weeks. Hopefully, yeah. We've had so many before, we need to get less, you know what I mean? Alright. And hopefully IS-3 does come soon, because that will also be an injection of resources. Plus, I've got a much better developer roster for handling it, with 4 stars like Zhao to help me out. But we can worry about that later. I'll probably stick to... Alright, when I next stream, I'll only do the story on stream, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll decide if I want to keep doing the adverse environment like here, or if I want to go with regular mode just to get the chapter over. So I'll think about that. But for now, I'll go ahead and call the stream. So until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.